Welcome, everyone. What a great day for football. Sunny, 50 degrees, Lambeau Field, a historic shrine in football, built explicitly for that purpose. Mike Adamley along with Mike Hafner. The Cincinnati Bengals have won the toss. They have elected to receive in the north end zone. Back deep for Cincinnati, number 22, Deacon Turner, 5'11", 210, third-year man out of San Diego State.
And we'll watch very closely Kenny Anderson, the quarterback for the Bengals. We talked about that bad left knee, Mike, and he is the key to their offense. He's got to get him going early.
Markle kicks off, number 13. He's the man who was responsible for the Packers' only victory. Turner fields it on his, or number 38, 28, Triolfo. Montgomery gets loose. He's over the 40 to 45 and finally knocked out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Great field position for Cincinnati. Knocked out of bounds by number 58, Bruce Beakley.
And Montgomery, if you recognize that name, his brother Wilbert plays for Philadelphia.
42 yards in that return by Montgomery, setting the Cincinnati Bengals offense. Anderson, the starter at quarterback. Alexander and Johnson's the running back. Bass, Curtis, and Ross, wide receivers and tight end. First and 10 on the 47. Johnson and Alexander the setbacks. Anderson calling the signal. Anderson back to pass, quick out to number 84, Don Bass. He makes the reception. They'll have a second down situation. The offensive line for Cincinnati, 78, the number 1 draft choice, Anthony Munoz. He has been sensational. Lapham has replaced Bujnak, Bush, Montoya, and Wilson, the remaining 3. Second down and 2, ball on the 45-yard line in Green Bay territory. Curtis, motion left. Anderson gives to Johnson. Johnson, the big Hulk from Ohio State, bangs in there. See if he picked up the first down. Charles Johnson, the nose tackle, number 99 for Green Bay, on the stop.
I'll check my eyes today, Mike. I think he's got it. He does.
First down, Green Bay.
Interesting, Kenny Anderson throwing a quick out on the first passing play to check out that left knee.
There's that defensive line for Green Bay. Mike Butler, 77. Ezra Johnson, number 9 at the ends. Charles Johnson, 99, the nose tackle. Kurt Alleman is starting linebacker today in place of Bruce Beakley. Picked him up recently from St. Louis on waivers. First and 10. Ball on the Green Bay 42-yard line. Anderson again on first down. Back to pass. He's got time. Looking for number 86, excuse me. Steve Kreider checked into the game. 6'3", 192-pound, second-year man from Lehigh. Gain of 24 yards and another Cincinnati first down.
3 wide receivers that time, Mike, as we look at the linebackers.
Anderson, O'Neill, Allerman, I just mentioned, and Mike Douglas, who has been Green Bay's best defensive player to date. First and 10, Cincinnati. As you look at defensive back, Estes Hood, Mike McCoy, the corner. Steve Look, Johnny Gray, the safety. First and 10, ball in the Green Bay 18. Johnson motion right. Pitch to Charles Alexander. Across the 20, good force by the corner man. Steve Luke from a safety position, knocked out of bounds. Gain of 1, second down 9. One of the keys to this game, Michael, Cincinnati's offensive unit, they're very strong. Green Bay's just got to keep them off the field.
And Kenny Anderson has got to get back into the flow. As we said at the top of the show, he's only played 3 quarters of NFL football this season, and it takes a quarterback a little time to get into it.
Second down 8. Ball on the 16. Anderson again, he's got a little time and finds number 84, Don Bass, for good yardage and a first down. Inside the Green Bay 5, perhaps the 3. Finally, Steve Luke on the stop.
Kenny Anderson is showing his expertise. He's one of the finest pinpoint passers in the NFL, and he likes to look for secondary and even third receivers, and he's done this the entire drive. They had Kreider in at tight end. He's also picked up the back, and he's picked up the receivers short, and he's really cutting them to pieces.
Good look at number 78, Anthony Munoz. When Cincinnati runs the ball, look for them to run over his side. He has been spectacular. First and goal, ball on the 4. Cincinnati gives to Johnson. He's hit once by Charles Johnson, but gets that extra yard. He's a big load to bring down.
I'll tell you, Ohio State fullbacks, I don't think have ever lost a yard in their career.
Well, he picked up 2 there, moved into the 2-yard line. 2:12 remaining here in the first quarter, and already Cincinnati definite threat to score.
It's amazing what Kenny Anderson can do for the Cincinnati Bengals. Jack Thompson has tremendous talent, but as you pointed out, Mike, experience at quarterback's all important.
Second and goal, ball on the 2. Anderson calling the shot. Give us to Alexander. He goes nowhere. Stacking him up the entire Green Bay front 3, along with number 99. Charles Johnson, the nose tackle, of course. Eddie O'Neal, 56, also there.
Mike, the Green Bay Packers play a 3-4 defense until they get into goal line. Now they brought in Mike Lewis. They've got 4 down linemen. And you can see it's very tough to run inside against 4 down linemen. And the Packers have looked good on the first 2 running plays.
Third down 2. Bengals out of the huddle. Bass is winged on the right and in motion left. Anderson back to pass. He's got Alexander. For Johnny Gray.
Johnny Gray was a free agent, Mike, and he has started every single game since he's been with the Packers. Take a look at Gray. He reads it well. It's play action by Kenny. Not very good fake, and it wasn't planned that way. It was a quick out to Alexander, but Gray makes the perfect play. Right over the top, gets his eye on the ball, and that's the way you play goal line pass defense. You read the quarterback, not the receiver.
So the Bengals get off the hook, and will have to settle, hopefully anyway, for an Ian Sunter field goal. Kick is up, and it's good. And Cincinnati, with just 11:03 expired here in the first quarter, or to go, it's the Cincinnati Bengals 3, the Green Bay Packers nothing. We'll be back right after this. Actually all season long, Bart Starr's possible dismissal as head coach has been the attention nationwide and certainly here in Green Bay. But today, this morning, at a regularly scheduled meeting of the board of directors of the Green Bay Packers held in the Packers administration building, the following resolution was unanimously adopted. As we look at Ian Sunter set to kick off, I'll finish his thought as soon as this play is concluded. Short kick and fielded by Johnny Gray at his 24. He's out to the 30 and finally stopped. The resolution was, be it resolved that the board of directors of the Green Bay Packers Incorporated unanimously support the head coach, Bart Starr, his staff, and our players, and that the board of executive committee review the matter at the end of the season. So a vote of confidence, Michael.
The old vote of confidence.
It also can be the old kiss of death.
Yes.
You and I both know.
It's not Bart Starr's fault, though. I'm going to tell you that right up front. There are other problems with this club besides the head coach, Mike.
Packers putting the ball in play on their 30-yard line. Lynn Dickey, the quarterback. First and 10. The action, taking a page out of Anderson's book. A little screen out to James Lofton, number 80. But he gets about 3 yards on the play, maybe less.
Got to get the ball to James Lofton, maybe one of the finest receivers in the NFL, but with the Packers' record, Mike, nobody recognizes him. And again, you made another good point. You got to loosen up the quarterback early, so throw something easy, a quick out, a screen pass to the wide receiver, and that's exactly the way Dickey started.
Dickey, of course, the quarterback. Running back, Scary Ellis, acquired from the Rams before the season started, and Eddie Lee Ivory, second-year man out of Georgia Tech. Second down, just a shade under 10 yards to go. I formation. Lofton split wide to the right. Split is to number... Eddie Lee Ivory fumbles the ball, and it is recovered by number 57, Reggie Williams. And that's the kind of things that kill Bart Starr. Mistakes.
And he can't understand that. He was such a great player. Here's that pitch. Eddie Lee Ivory, perfect pitch by Dickey, and he just let it slip through. He was trying to read his blockers and not watching the ball. You can't run without the football, and he let it pop. And there was Reggie Williams, who's been spectacular for Cincinnati all year.
Ironically, that's the only fumble the Packers have lost this season. They fumbled 5 times, but recovered each time. So Cincinnati, great shape again. Ball now on the Green Bay 25-yard line. Curtis, wide to the right. Don Bass, wide to the left. Anderson, first down, is going to throw the ball. He's in a little bit of trouble. He has to run. And remember that he is not found. And number 90, big Ezra Johnson on the stop.
Very interesting matchup. There you see Max Montoya, but it was Anthony Munoz who is on Ezra Johnson. Kenny had no receivers open, and that caused the problem. You can't wait five seconds to throw the football, and any defensive line is going to be on top of you if you don't get rid of it quickly.
Anderson nailed for a loss of 13 yards. The ball is now back out on the Green Bay 38-yard line. Second down and 23. Green Bay, 5 defensive back situation. They brought in number 21, Mike Jolly, rookie from Michigan. Anderson again under pressure. He's got Curtis alone. Curtis at the 20 and finally knocked out of bounds at the 16-yard line.
Isaac Curtis on a crossing pattern that time, Mike, and they had 5 defensive backs in. They also had a blitz situation on with a linebacker, and you'll see that Johnson is in the grasp of a defensive player, but he sees Curtis wide open. If you want to beat the zone defense, you throw crossing patterns, and with a great receiver like Isaac Curtis, he's going to find the hole, and he did that time, and it's a big gain and got most of that yardage that Kenny had lost back.
That gain for 22 yards on the play. Third down and 2. Now ball is on the 16-yard line. Green Bay cannot let Cincinnati off the hook like this. I formation. Curtis now moves his wide receiver position. Single setback is Pete Johnson. He's in motion right. Anderson rolls to his right, has some time, looking for M.L. Harris, the tight end, but almost intercepted by number 59, John Anderson.
Kenny waited a little bit too long that time, Mike. He had him wide open. John Anderson almost got himself an interception. Take a look at it here. Anderson dropping back. He's waiting for the read, and they're double-teaming Curtis. And there's the look. Almost intercepted by Anderson. He had a chance, but not quite.
We'd like to apologize to our viewers of this game as Sunter's on the field right now attempting a field goal of 24 yards. We have had several audio and video problems. It's a telephone company problem. We understand it. Sunter's field goal is good. Cincinnati now has jumped out to a 6-0 lead with 9:16 left to go in the first quarter. That's the way the game stands. Mike Adamle and Mike Hafner back here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, Lambeau Field. You got to credit that Packer defense, Michael, for hanging in there tough. They've been in 3 tough scoring situations, or 2 rather, but they've only given up field goals.
And another point to watch is that Kenny Anderson has done super. That knee hasn't bothered him a bit.
Sunter kicking off. Again, a very short kick. Mike McCoy, the starting cornerback, takes it and goes out to the 31-yard line, a return of 13 yards. So Packers have only had 2 plays from the line of scrimmage. Dickey, the quarterback, Gary Ellis, and Eddie Lee Ivory, the running back. James Lofton, one of the wideouts, his counterpart, Andre Thompson, Paul Kaufman, the tight end. First and 10 on the 30. And the give is to Ellis, number 31. He crosses the 30 out to about the 33-yard line before number Bo Harris makes the stop, number 53. Offensively, Mark Conkar back from the injured reserve list. He has not played in a single down all season or all exhibition season. You watch him, and Larry McCarron, of course, their most steady player on offense. Second down and 8. Looking at Cincinnati's defensive line, Whitley, the nose tackle, Eddie Edwards and Ross Browner, the end.
All first-round draft choices, Mike.
Lofton motion left, Dickey back to pass. He's got Lofton in a right left flat, knocked out of bounds close to the first down by number 13, Kenny Riley. Great catch. Not the best thrown ball in the world.
But I'll tell you what, Lynn Dickey read the defense correctly. Cincinnati rolling up into a zone to the right side, and he immediately reads it, finds Lofton one-on-one to the outside on Riley, and he's just short of the first down. He knows he's short of the stick. Good wide receivers know where that first down stick is.
Gain of 6, third down and 2. Ball on Green Bay, their own 38-yard line.
Double tight end, Mike.
Little shorter than 2 yards. Ellis and Eddie Lee Ivory, the setback. Give us to Alexander. He's going right. He's got the first down before number 44, Ray Griffin, makes the stop.
Mike, that's the place to run against the 3-4, especially in the short yardage. Eddie Lee Ivory running off tackle. You cannot run outside against the 3-4. The linebackers today are just too quick. You've got to move to the outside and then break back. You were a great running back. You ought to know that.
Eddie Lee Ivory, of course, scored Green Bay's only touchdown last week. He is the man that Green Bay is putting an awful lot of hope in. He's an outstanding running back, the second-year man from Georgia Tech. Dickey back to pass and first down into the flat to Ivory again. And Ivory, a great broken field runner, picks up good yardage, about 9 yards, crosses the midfield stripe. Eddie Edwards on pursuit, making the stop.
Mike, we talked about the fact that both these clubs have not thrown to their backs. And the way that the NFL has legislated against the defense, you have got to take advantage of that no-bump rule, and especially with your backs. You get him one-on-one with a linebacker. If he's a great broken field runner, he's going to get you extra yards. Here you see the perfect example.
First time Green Bay has penetrated Cincinnati territory. They got a second down situation, 1 yard to go on the Cincinnati 49. They give it to Ellis. He's got a little bit of room outside, breaks one tackle and picks up the first down. He slipped the grasp of number 57, Reggie Williams. Finally, Ross Browner knocks him out of bounds.
Good job of running by Jerry Ellis. I liked him when I saw him in Los Angeles in the preseason. He's really going to help this club at fullback. Also blocking for Eddie Lee Ivory. You can do that too.
Got good natural instincts, according to the Green Bay coaches. As you look at the Cincinnati linebacking core, Bo Harris, Reggie Williams, the outside man, Jim LeClaire, and Glenn Cameron, two tough inside linebackers. First and 10, ball on the Cincinnati 47. Thompson, motion right, out of the slot. Dickey back to pass. He's got Thompson open, but overthrows it. Andres Thompson was wide open on the Cincinnati 33-yard line. Ball tailed off on him.
I think he threw a little bit off his back foot, Mike. The ball took off. Another thing, too, is Thompson's looking right into the sun. And it's very difficult to pick the ball up when you're looking right back into the sun.
You're charting this game. Lynn Dickey's just got to get off to a very hot start. It's going to help his confidence. If he can move the ball, perhaps lead them to some kind of score on this drive, he could be in good shape. Second down, 10, ball in the Cincinnati 47-yard line. I formation. Paul Kaufman in motion right. To give us to number 40, Edmund Ivory. Quick little draw. Down to the 42-yard line. Bo Harris on the stop.
A little bit of a false trap that time, Mike. They pulled the guard, and he wasn't even involved in the blocking, and the nose tackle followed him, and that left a big hole for Eddie Lee Ivory.
That's the way to attack the 3-4 defense, is inside.
Those linebackers are too quick to run outside. They all run faster than I did when I was playing, and I was a wide receiver.
3rd and 5. Kaufman moves off the line of scrimmage. Look at Lynn Dickey calling the shots. Kaufman, motion right. Dickey again back to pass. He's got ball over the middle and the first down. Again, number 34, Lewis Breeden, the nickelback in that situation, makes the stop.
Put a lot of pressure on the nickelback Breeden that time by putting Kaufman in motion. He didn't know what to do. Kaufman ran inside, and it was an excellent call by Lynn Dickey.
The book on Paul Kaufman, last year he led the NFC in receptions, 56. Only 2 men were ahead of him, both of Oakland's tight ends, Dave Casper and you know who else, right?
Of course. Don't put pressure on me like that.
1st and 10, ball on the 31. Dickey back to pass. There's Lofton. He's got him, and another first down. And the Green Bay fans love it. I don't think they've had this much to cheer about in quite some time.
Lynn Dickey had a great game against the Dallas Cowboys, but his receivers dropped at least 7 passes, and they can sure help him out today by making catches like that. Here's another look at Dickey, and he's got a good view of the field. You can see his confidence when he stands back there. That confidence factor you talked about with Bart Starr, according to Lynn Dickey, looks like he's got it back now.
Ball deep in Cincinnati territory, the 14-yard line. Kaufman goes in motion right. Quick pitch to number 31, Ellis. He's tripped up in the backfield by number 57, Reggie Williams. Ross Browner finishes the job.
A little mix-up in execution there, Mike. It looked like the fullback didn't know which way to go. Dickey made a fair handoff, and Cincinnati had read the play already, and it was going nowhere and didn't.
Larry McCarron, the Green Bay center. Interesting story. He's playing with a broken right finger in his right hand, so he's snapping the ball with his left hand.
Centers are versatile.
They're also tough. Second down 11. Ball to 15 now. And Dickey, who's got Lofton. One-on-one situation, touchdown. Lofton beats Kenny Riley. Made a beautiful move on him and a perfect touch by Lynn Dickey.
That's the way you want to get a veteran cornerback, with his back turned. He didn't see the ball coming. And Lofton is, as I said, one of the finest receivers in the NFL. Great concentration. That's a tough catch when it comes right over your head.
That 15-yard touchdown reception put Mr. Lofton over the 2,000-yard mark in career receptions, and this just his third year. Outstanding, outstanding young player. Markle set for the extra point.
That got him fired up, Mike. These fans love it when the Packers get ahead.
Beverly the holder. Chester's extra point is up and good. So with 4:16 left to go in the first quarter, we've got a brand new ball game. Green Bay on top of Cincinnati, 7-6. And Mike Hafner back in Green Bay, Wisconsin. That Green Bay scoring drive covered 70 yards in 11 plays, took up 5 minutes of the clock. Chester Markle set the kickoff. The Packers lead 7-6. Leota Montgomery, 28, back deep. He seals it on his 13 across the 20. He's got some running room. 30, over the 35, the 40. Chester Markle made the initial stop. Special teams have been killing the Bengals, but today they're getting great field position.
Montgomery was a great acquisition. Again, Wilbert Montgomery's brother, and he shows our NBC crew is just unbelievable. Look at the shot they've got of the touchdown. Here's James Lofton, the great receiver out of Stanford. Ground level. There's the look as he lofts it up, and you can see he had Kenny Riley turned his back to the quarterback, and Lofton watched it all the way in for 6.
Cincinnati's ball, again, good field position on their own 45. Curtis motion left. Give us to Charles Alexander out of the I formation. Good game up the middle. Stopped by number 59, John Anderson. This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Green Bay Packers and the National Football League is prohibited. Second down 2. M.L. Harris is now checked into the game for the Bengals at tight end. Give us to Johnson. Johnson's got the first down. Down to the 43-yard line. Johnny Gray and Steve Luke on the stop.
Mike, you mentioned that M.L. Harris was in on that down. He's usually the pass-receiving tight end. Ross, the one that blocks, but they're using the tight ends to send in the plays. Remember the old Paul Brown teams? It was always the guard. Now they're using the tight end.
They haven't changed much. Pete Johnson has now left the game. Number 35, Nathan Poole, 5'8", 205, second-year man out of Louisville, has replaced him. First and 10, ball in the Green Bay 42. Anderson, play action. He's in trouble. Little screen pass out to Poole. But credit number 56, Eddie O'Neill, was snuffing that play out.
Mike, it was a perfect call. It was the screen pass against the blitz, but Eddie O'Neill, who had some great years at Detroit, smelled it out, and there was no way for him to get away.
If Green Bay has had a problem, it's lack of veteran leadership on their defensive unit. Eddie O'Neill supplies that for them.
Nothing like a veteran on defense. I think Jack Pardee proved that in his days, and so did the over-the-hill gang under George Allen.
5 defensive backs now in for Green Bay in a second down 17 situation. Number 21, Mike Jolly, has checked into the game, as well as number 22, Mark Lee. Single setback is Nathan Poole. Anderson back to pass. Pressure on from Ezra Johnson. Curtis makes the grab. Estes Hood knocks him out of bounds.
I don't believe Kenny Anderson, Mike. That was a great athletic move, and if he's got a bad left knee, then he's fooling somebody, because, again, he was in the grasp of the defensive lineman, threw off balance, and hit Curtis perfect.
Third down 8. Ezra Johnson put that great pressure on Kenny Anderson. Gain of 10 yards. Pete Johnson now back in the ball game for Cincinnati. Archie Griffin has also checked in.
He's been out because of a bad ankle, but doesn't look like he's too hurt today.
Excuse me, not Archie Griffin. That's 85. Isaac Curtis lined up in the backfield. He's now slot left. 3rd and 7. Anderson's got time. Again, a great play by number 24, Johnny Gray. Dan Ross was right there, but Gray, quick reactions and gets that right arm around him.
Now you know why he started every game since he was a free agent here with Green Bay.
In his 6th year out of Cal State Fullerton, Johnny Gray. So Green Bay's defense comes up tough once again. And Pat McAnally will be back to punt. Andra Thompson, number 89, the single safety for the Packers.
McAnally sure had an adventure this year. Had a couple blocked punts, dropped one. He's still one of the best in the NFL, though.
No question about it. Ron Cassidy, the man back deep for Green Bay. McAnally gets off a high one, end over end, going out of bounds at the 8-yard line. So a good kick by Pat McAnally. Cincinnati has nailed the Packers inside their own 10-yard line. 7-6 Packers. We'll be back. Beautiful autumn day here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, Lambeau Field, and the Green Bay Partisans have something to cheer about for a change. Their Packers lead the Cincinnati Bengals 7-6 with 1:43 remaining here in the first quarter. And Lynn Dickey, Mike Hafner has looked very well.
You know, there's something about quarterback. I can tell his aura when he drops back, and I can see the confidence just in the way he holds his body. He's having a good day so far.
They're deep in their own territory right now, pinned back on their 8-yard line. Dickey hands off to Eddie Lee Ivory. He's got good running room, and he almost breaks the tackle of Ray Griffin. He could have been gone.
There's that off-tackle run again, Mike, against the 3-4. And Eddie Lee Ivory is showing what they drafted him for 2 years ago.
15-yard gain. Here it is again.
See that outside block by Gary? That's the one that's the key. Gary Ellis, again, a great runner, but he blocked well to the outside, gave Ivory the chance to break inside against that 3-4. And you see Reggie Williams, 57, with his back to the play. He was totally out of it.
1st and 10, ball on the Green Bay 24. This time to give us Ellis. He's got a little bit of running room over his left side. That's the side that big Mark Concar plays. He's starting his first game in quite some time. Bo Harris and Ross Brown are on the stop.
Interesting that Dickey would give Gary Ellis the call on that one. I think it was a pat on the back for making the great block to spring his Eddie Lee Ivory on that play. Quarterbacks will do that for you every once in a while.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, Namath used to do it with the Jets, especially after you've made a great catch for him. A sign of good field leadership. 2nd down 8 situation, ball on their own 26-yard line. Quick flip out to Ellis, fullback pitch. Kind of used to do the Jimmy Taylor. Out across the 30-yard line, 31. 17 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Packers on top, 7-6.
And I think Gary Ellis would love to have you compare him to Jimmy Taylor anytime, Mike.
I was comparing that type of play.
I see. I see. Just being mentioned in the same breath is a compliment.
Well, the first quarter has ended here at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Green Bay Packers up on top of the Cincinnati Bengals, 7-6. Stay with us. Next Sunday on NBC Sports, NFL 80 continues. Join host Brian Gumbel for an up-to-the-minute look at all the news, scores, and highlights, plus a special feature on violence in sports. That's all next Sunday on NFL 80. Check your local listings for the time in your area. Second quarter just getting underway. Mike Adamle along with Mike Hafner here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Packers lead 7-6. They have a 3rd and 3 situation on their own 31.
Big down, Mike.
Dickey back to pass. Little flip out to Alexander. Alexander breaks the tackle. He's got the first down and more. Almost out to the midfield stripe. Eddie Lee Ivory makes the catch. Wilson Whitley, coming from his nose tackle position, makes the stop. Dickey now, 6 completions and 7 attempts.
That's not a bad afternoon. And another thing, too, Mike, is, again, I'm going to harp on this all afternoon. You've got to throw to your backs to be successful in the National Football League, and that was the perfect example. Cincinnati, big pass rush, linebackers dropping deep. You dump it off to the back and let him do his work.
They say Ivory stepped out of bounds. He's at the 41-yard line, but still a first down for Green Bay. I formation. Thompson's in the slot left. The give is to Ivory again. Up the middle, and there's a flag on the play.
First one of the day. The very first flag, and that's a compliment to Bart Starr's club, who's had real problems with those yellow flags on the field.
And with the exception of Ivory's fumble, they've been playing relatively mistake-free football, but this time a holding call against the Packers.
That's another one of my gripes. How can a lineman hold on a running play? On a pass play, no problem.
Here's a call from Jerry Markbright.
Holding, number 54, offense. First down.
Maybe that broken finger is affecting Larry McCarron. He was guilty of the infraction. Scores from around the league. We've got some strange upsets in the making. Green Bay, first down and 20 situation on their own 31. Dickey, play action screen fake out to Ivory. It loses 5 yards in the play.
He slipped and fell, but again, he's thrown to his backs, and I like it.
At halftime, St. Louis leads New Orleans 27-0.
Ooh.
Archie Manning has left that game with a strained tricep muscle. Pittsburgh on top of Minnesota 16-3 in the third quarter. Seattle whopping Houston 20-0 in the second quarter.
Seattle finally playing at home well.
And that's a surprise. But Stabler never plays well against the Seahawks. Last year against, when he was playing with the Raiders, he had problems. Second down and 23. Dickey again to the airway. He's got time, and he's got Thompson at the 42. Breaks Breeden's tackle and looking for more yardage. Gets some help from Gary Ellis to see him run all over the wing, help him out there.
And again, Cincinnati had 5 defensive backs in, and Dickey made the perfect read. He caught the guy that was one-on-one. Watch Andre Thompson. He sees the coverage also, but Dickey just shows confidence today. He looks like the quarterback he's always been. He makes the perfect read. You see he's got one-on-one coverage against Breeden. And he almost gets away, Mike. He's got the great speed, but again, that great pursuit of the 3-4 defense will keep you from getting away.
Gain of 18 yards on that pass play, but Green Bay still in a third down situation. 3rd and 5, ball on their own 46-yard line. Ivory and Ellis in the backfield. Lofton split right. Dickey in trouble, running out of the pocket. He's got Ellis alone. He beats Reggie Williams and got the first down. Inside Cincinnati territory down to the 38-yard line, and credit Gary Ellis with one of the great adjustments you've ever seen on a football.
You picked it out perfect, Mike, and here's the, again, you must get that back one-on-one with a linebacker. Look at this move by Dickey. They say that he doesn't move well, but he made a perfect move outside, throws on the run, and you didn't see it, but Gary Ellis was looking over his right shoulder, turned around, caught it one-handed over his left shoulder. A great adjustment.
And as great as Jimmy Taylor was, we were making comparison. I don't think I ever saw number 31 catch the football with one hand.
No. Great play by Gary
Fans
Ellis.
are really loving it. Their Packers are on top and threatening to score again, but they fumble the ball. The give was to Ellis, but he recovered his own fumble.
I think Lynn Dickey just dropped the snap from center again. Maybe the problems with McCarron, the broken finger, and it makes it tough to make that snap back to him, and he lost the handle, and thank goodness that Ellis was there to pick it up.
Again, NBC would like to offer our sincere apologies for any audio trouble that you might be experiencing. I understand, again, as telephone lines, sometimes things go wrong. Murphy's Law can always strike.
Shake it up out there, Ma Bell.
Thanks for bearing with us. Green Bay's got a 2nd down and 10 situation inside the Bengal 50-yard line. Ball's on the 33. 19:05 remaining here in the second quarter. Dickey, outstanding afternoon so far. He's got Ellis over the middle. Jim LeClaire was there on the coverage.
Ellis is complaining, too. He said somebody was holding him inside that 5-yard mark, but you get one bump, 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, and I think Cincinnati was legal on that one.
Lynn Dickey is having the kind of afternoon that Kenny Anderson is accustomed to having. Right now, he has 10 completions, 12 attempts, 105 yards, and 1 touchdown. The 15-yard shot to James Lofton.
Could have had a game like that last week, too, if his receivers had held the ball.
Steve Atkins, number 32, is checked into the game in place of Eddie Lee Ivory. Ball on the 33. Another critical 3rd down situation, and Dickey back to the air. He's got a little bit of time, and he's got James Lofton. First down, we've got a flag on on the play.
I think he hit him after he was out of bounds, and they're going to call him for roughing. But then I don't want to guess. Take a look here. Both Andre Thompson and James Lofton on the same side. Lofton is going deep. He's out of the picture, and that leaves Lofton wide open to the outside. A perfect throw again by Dickey, and there's the late hit. They're going to get him for it. Another 15 yards, Mike.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 30, defense, first down.
Those guys from Yale should know better than that, huh, Mike?
Especially Dick Duran. He's been in this league long enough, 8 years. Gain of 17 on the play.
There's a look at Dick, one of the few Ivy Leaguers that made it big in this league.
Until that 15-yard touchdown pass back in the first quarter, James Lofton had not caught a scoring strike all year long. Green Bay doing what they have to do. 1st and 8. Give us to Turdell Middleton, the forgotten man in the Green Bay backfield. A 1,000-yard rusher 2 years ago. Injuries plagued him last year when he gained only over 400. He's into the game now and healthy. Lofton comes back in, so does Andre Thompson. The two tight ends lead.
Here's another look at why you can't run outside against the 3-4 defense. Look at the pursuit from inside. Just too many people to block, and the linebackers with 4.6, 4.5 speed, Mike. You can't run outside.
LeClaire there, Cameron there, also Ray Griffin. Middleton and Atkins the back. 2nd down and 8 on the Cincinnati 8. Play action fake. Dickey, he's got good time. He's got Paul Kaufman, but he drops the ball, and you don't see that happen very often. Paul Kaufman had number 53 beat. Bo Harris, and he dropped the ball.
This is great. A play-action pass, a good call by Dickey. It's called a tight end delay. What you do is you sneak across. Dickey makes a good eye fake, then looks back for his tight end, right in his mitts, and dropped it. And I'll tell you what, Kaufman doesn't want to come back to the huddle. I've done that before. The quarterback never says anything, Mike, but he just looks into your eyes and says, if you drop another one, Turkey, it's over.
3rd down 8. Lofton in the slot to the left, to the right, and motion left. Dickey's got time again. Fires a little flip to number 32, Steve Atkins. And the second-year man from Maryland carries it in from the 8 for the touchdown.
What I tell you about throwing to the backs, you can beat them all day. Backs one-on-one with linebackers. They've got to get open. And again, Dickey, what great confidence. He just had his tight end drop the ball on him. He comes right back with play action, finds Atkins over the middle, and then Atkins makes a nice move to step around linebacker and prances in the end zone. And I like the way Lynn Dickey is playing. He looks like he's got the confidence back.
No question about it. Bart Starr, after he made that comment we were talking about in the pregame ceremonies, had him talk to not a psychiatrist, but someone who is in the business of positive reinforcement, apparently at his work. Marco's extra point is good. The Packers have now jumped out to a 14-6 lead with 12:02 remaining in the second quarter. That's how it stands. We'll be back.
The picture of confidence. His tight end had just dropped what should have been a touchdown pass. Lynn Dickey comes right back, hits his fullback Atkins over the middle. Atkins a nice sidestep into the end zone, and the Pack is ahead. And they can only say that one time this year.
And the Pack is back, at least temporarily. They lead 14-6 here. Second quarter action. Marco kicks off. Back deep, number 28, Leotha Montgomery. Takes it at his 15. He's got running room around the right side. And again, the Green Bay special team letting down a bit. Number 29 and 20, Wiley Turner makes the stop. Not before Montgomery picks up 28 yards. So again, good field position for the Bengals. They have the ball on their 38-yard line. That last Green Bay drive, Michael, also another first for this year. 92 yards in 13 plays. Again, 4:41 was eaten up on the clock.
And you don't do that with a quarterback who doesn't have confidence.
Bart Starr's got to be all smiles so far. Give us to Alexander, Charles Alexander. He goes nowhere. Number 99, big Mike Butler, or Charles Johnson, makes the stop. Around the league, Washington trailing Philadelphia at halftime, 21-7. St. Louis 30-0 in the third quarter over New Orleans. Pittsburgh 16-3 over Minnesota. That's in the third quarter. Seattle trouncing Houston 20-0 in the second quarter. Baltimore trailing Miami by 7 at halftime, 17-10.
Shula's doing it with mirrors, I swear.
Second down 9 for Cincinnati. Anderson back to pass. Hits Don Bass, number 84.
He's going to be very close to a first down, too, Mike.
Mike McCoy on the stop. Third-year man out of Houston. 6'2", 220, outstanding wide receiver. He takes a lot of pressure off of Isaac Curtis.
He's got to run the great routes because Curtis gets the double team and Bass gets one-on-one, and he's got to work to get open to give Kenny an out when he sees that Isaac's got the double coverage.
And when Isaac was having a sordid injury problem, Don Bass took over and was their leading receiver. Chains have been brought over to the near sideline here.
My old special team eyes say that he's got it. Nope, he's short.
You are wrong again, Karnak.
Oh, I'll learn not to guess. This is Bart Starr's down. Isn't it 3rd and inches? Love to go upstairs.
Kenny Anderson has not played too much because of that knee injury. You saw his statistics there, 10 for 18 on the year. But he is a flawless tactician. You know, he can really dissect the defense. As a matter of fact, he holds the NFL record for a single game completion average, 20 for 22 against Pittsburgh back in 1974.
I played with Cincinnati when he was a rookie, and I knew he was going to be a good one.
3rd and inches to go. Ball on the 48-yard line. Give us to Alexander following Pete Johnson's block, and he's got the first down.
The offensive line for Cincinnati has really been boosted. I'll tell you, big Anthony Munoz out of USC, and guess where they run? To the left side, right over the top of him. And that big guy, he's bigger than life.
Also number 58, Blair Bush. First-round draft choice 3 years ago out of the University of Washington. He's a very fine center out of the Bob Johnson mold.
And that's the only 2 they've ever had.
13 years. That's how long the Bengals have been around. Give us to Pete Johnson up the middle again. Bush working over the nose tackle, Charles Johnson. Eddie O'Neill, number 56 on the stop.
Interesting, in 1967, the very first pick by the expansion Bengals was center Bob Johnson. And as soon as he retires, their very first pick, Blair Bush, the center out of Washington. And it's amazing, Paul Brown built his clubs that way, around the offensive line and specifically the center.
Second down and 5, ball on the 45, 9:27 to go here in the second quarter. Packers lead 14-6. M.L. Harris, motion left, flip to Johnson. Johnson's got a little bit of running room. Gains 2 or 3 yards. Number 90, Ezra Johnson, comes from his defensive right end position, makes the tackle. Third down 2.
Funny to see an old Ohio State fullback run a sweep. Never did that when Woody Hayes was coaching him.
Surprisingly, at anywhere from 246 to 266 pounds, he does have some speed. Third down, a little over a yard to go. Cincinnati 0 for 3 in third down conversion. Give us to Alexander. He's got this one, though. Hot through at the 40, goes down to the 37-yard line. First down, Cincinnati. Mike Jolly on the stop.
Take a look inside. It might have been Max Montoya, the guard that made the big, and again, Blair Bush. He was the one who blocked out the linebacker. Bush, the center, opened up the hole to give him the first down.
I don't know why they don't listen to us. 3-4 defense, run inside. That's where you get the yardage.
They don't gain it outside.
Kenny Anderson calling the shots now. His Bengals trail by 8. They do have the ball in Green Bay territory. He's got Don Bass, 84. Mike McCoy trying to hang on. He broke that tackle. Would have been good buy. He picks up the first down for Cincinnati.
Perfect read by Kenny Anderson. Double coverage on Isaac Curtis to the right. You watch Kenny check it. See him look right there. Now he turns back left because he knows Bass has got one-on-one. He's wide open, perfect throw. And McCoy, you're right. If he didn't hang on, he was in the end zone.
Usually when teams attack the Green Bay defense, and this is not a knock against you, Michael, but they go to McCoy's side.
Just because he's from Colorado, you don't have to remind me.
1st and 10, I formation. Give us to Johnson. Quick give to the fullback. Gains about 1 or 2 yards. Stopped by Eddie O'Neill, 56.
People always ask me, why do you run the fullback up the middle on 1st down for a 1-yard gain? You've got to keep that defensive line thinking run. If they just tee off and pass rush you every time, you're going to be flat on your back, and it's very difficult to throw the football from the prone position.
Excellent point. 2nd down 8. Ball on the 22. Second tick away from the clock here in the second quarter. 6:49 to go.
Archie Griffin's in for the first time today.
He's had ankle problems. Anderson back to throw. Looking for Kreider. Picked off by Green Bay.
Estes Hood, what a great interception.
Kreider fell down on the play, but Hood recovered. Great second effort and picked off the ball. So after a good Cincinnati drive, again the Green Bay defense hangs tough, and they hang on to a 14-6 lead.
Career, my coaches always told me as a wide receiver, never fall down. And you're going to see the reason why. Kreider fell down, and we're going to see it after this first play. Before Green Bay sneaks up on us with one quick one, we'll get a look at why receivers shouldn't fall down, Mike.
The last time Green Bay was pinned back this deep, they went 92 yards for their second score of the ball game. Middleton and Atkins, the backfield for Green Bay. And to give us to Turdell Middleton around the right side. He breaks one tackle and goes across the 5 and knocked out of bounds at the 8-yard line by number 50, Glenn Cameron, and number 47, Greg Dreit, the rookie out of Morehead State.
All right, here's that look at the interception now. Kenny Anderson has Kreider wide open, and you'll see him on the ground, and Estes Hood playing perfect position. And when a wide receiver falls down, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the ball picked off. And Hood did a great job, stood his ground, and with Kreider falling down, he got himself an interception, his first of the year.
5th of the year for the Packers. They lead 14-6, 2nd down 6, ball on their own 8-yard line. Quick little trap to Middleton, but flags all over the play.
A lot of confusion on the Green Bay side that time.
I think they tried to catch Cincinnati off guard with that quick little getting trap up the middle to Turdell Middleton. Initial reaction from the crowd anyway that it's against Cincinnati.
Well, they did fool him then.
Jerry Markbright, the referee today, walking off the penalty against Cincinnati. Let's hear the call. Well, you're a lip reader.
Offsides, Cincinnati. Anybody can read those lips. 2nd down and 1 now for Green Bay.
Lynn Dickey has had an outstanding afternoon. 12 for 15, 130 yards, 2 touchdown passes.
And a 92-yard drive, Mike.
Quick pitch to Atkins. He's got the first down out to the 20-yard line. Number 30, Dick Jerome, and Glenn Cameron, number 50, on the stop.
Here's a great example of what Vince Lombardi used to teach here at Green Bay. A couple of guards pulling out, opening up the hole, and then running inside the tackle slot. Again, not outside. You beat that outside linebacker. If you get into the secondary, you're going to get big yardage.
You can watch Lynn Dickey growing more confident by the moment. The whole team is. They now have another first down at the 20-yard line. They lead 14-6. Give us to Atkins. He breaks a tackle to the 20. Another tackle across the 25. And finally knocked down at the 28-yard line. He carried Glenn Cameron, number 50, about 3 or 4 yards.
I'm very impressed with the 2 fullbacks for Green Bay. Atkins has come in and run the ball well, and Gary Ellis was the key to the 1 touchdown drive with his receptions and his running.
When the Packers drafted both Atkins and Eddie Lee Ivory 2 years ago, they thought they had their backfield problem solved for at least 5 years. And then finally, after some knee problems, they're both healthy and they're both running well. 2nd down 1. Middleton, the ball carrier. First down, Green Bay. Methodical they've been. This looks like the Green Bay Packers of old.
You know, and it's interesting, too. We've talked about the confidence that Dickey has shown us. I'm certain the other 10 guys in the huddle walk back in there, look in his eyes, and know that he's on a roll. and they're going to work extra hard for him, reach for that extra 5%, and it shows on the field.
Confidence on the fans' part. Our spotter, Bob Schultz, works for a local affiliate here in Green Bay. He's been smiling all afternoon. He loves it.
After the first 4 games, I guess everybody's smiling here.
1st and 10 for the Pack on their own 32-yard line. 4:36 to go here in the second quarter. Dickey back to pass. Lofton open at the 50. He fumbled the ball, but I think that the official had blown the play dead.
Perfect call by Lynn Dickey. You throw play action on 1st down. Caught him in zone defense. Lofton, a Stanford graduate, by the way, knows how to read defenses. He's a bright young man. Look how wide open he is. Tries to break the seam.
Michael, a gain of 23 yards. He's working against a very tough little cornerback, 44, Ray Griffin. But Lofton has got exceptional talent. He's about 5 inches taller, so he's got the advantage there. 1st and 10, ball now in Cincinnati territory on the 45-yard line. Packers threatening to go. There's the blitz, but I think the Bengals were offside there. Cameron, a man who got in on Middleton, but flags all over the field.
He tried to cheat, Mike, and they caught him.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WFRV-TV,
Mike Adamle and
Channel
Mike
5, Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Well, a surprise here. The Packers on top, 14-6, with 9:46 to go in the second quarter. Michael Hafner, they've been exceptional.
Offside, number 57, defense, 1st down.
Green Bay has been used to making all the mistakes. Today, Cincinnati has been playing mistake football. Dickey, he's had a tough year so far, but today he's been great. 2 touchdown passes already. 1 to Lofton, 1 to Steve Atkins.
And a 92-yard drive, Mike, and that takes confidence not only from the quarterback, but from his teammates.
1st and 5. Atkins breaks 1, breaks 2, almost breaks 3. Everybody in this Green Bay team has been playing above their head. Finally, Kenny Riley, number 13, makes the stop.
Amazing what a confident quarterback can do for a club.
Elsewhere around the league this afternoon in the NFL, Pittsburgh on top of Minnesota 26-3. Terry Bradshaw just scored on a 2-yard touchdown run. Seattle on top of Houston 20-0. Second quarter. Baltimore trailing Miami 17-10 in the third. 2nd down 1. Ball in the Cincinnati 35. Middleton gets the carry, gets the 1st down. New England on top of the New York Jets. 21-6 Jets could go 0-5 after today.
Look out, Walt Michaels.
First quarter, Denver, a hard luck team this year. 0-0 against Cleveland. How about this? 0 for the 4-0 Detroit Lions, trailing the Atlanta Falcons 34-3.
They find out the NFL isn't that easy.
Green Bay's got another 1st down. Dickey play action fake, throws it out to Cordell Middleton. Ray Griffin there to make the stop. Also Dick Duran and Glenn Cameron. Good 1st down play.
I'm amazed, Mike. The running backs for Green Bay have only caught 10 passes this year in 4 games. In Game 5, I'm certain they've caught 5 or 6.
Again, that score, Atlanta 34-3 over the Detroit Lions. Billy Sims has had a field day so far against all these other NFL opponents, but Atlanta has been holding him in check. So there's a 2-minute warning signaling the end of the first half. Packers lead the Bengals 14-6.
America.
Next week on NBC Sports, exciting NFL action continues with a doubleheader. First join Brian Gumbel and NFL 84 and up to the minute look at news, scores, and highlights, plus a special feature on violence in sports. Then most of you will see the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Cincinnati Bengals, and then the Oakland Raiders battle the San Diego Chargers, plus other regional games. Check your listings for the game and time in your area. Mike Adamle and Mike Hafner back here at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, where the Green Bay Packers look like the Packers of old. They lead the Bengals 14-6. 2nd down, 6. Ball in the Cincinnati 29. Give to Steve Atkins, and he doesn't get anywhere. Reggie Williams on the stop.
Reggie Williams read it perfectly, and he was standing in the backfield when Dickey handed off.
If you just joined us again, Cincinnati drew first blood on a 20-yard field goal by Ian Sunter after a fumble by Green Bay. Sunter kicked a 34-yard field goal, but since that time, it's been all Green Bay. Green Bay led 7-6 after a 15-yard touchdown pass, Dickey to Lofton, and then 14-6 after an 8-yard touchdown pass, Dickey to Steve Atkins. That play covered 92 yards. Dickey flipped to Atkins, reverse to Andre Thompson, 89, but number 53, Bo Harris, read the play perfectly and trapped Andre Thompson for a big loss.
He's a 6-year veteran, Mike, and they teach you to stay at home on the offside from the play. You see, the play is going away from Harris now. Here comes the reverse. Most rookie linebackers would chase the play, but Harris stayed at home, got himself a handful of jersey, and Mr. Thompson goes nowhere.
Well, David Beverly will have to punt for the first time, but his Packers are on top, 14-6. A minute and 7 seconds left here in the first half in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The Packers on top, 14-6. They have to punt now for the first time today. David Beverly, number 11, 7-year man out of Auburn, back to punt. So far this year, he's got nailed 7 inside the 20-yard line.
And he's the best at it in the entire NFL, Mike.
28, Cleosa Montgomery, backseat for Cincinnati. Beverly has time. High kick. Montgomery signals for the fair catch on his 12th. And that's where the Bengals will put the ball in play when we come back. But right now, they trail the Packers 14-6. Stay with us. Start of the afternoon, I don't think Kenny Anderson expected himself to be in this position at this point in the game. His team trails by 8, 14-6, with 1 minute to go on the clock. But Mike, if any man can engineer a 2-minute drill better than this man, I don't know who it is.
And Cincinnati 1-3. Why not go after it? Don't play conservative here. Go for 6.
He's as good as the best in the business. Stabler et al. Give, though, this time a conservative running play to Charles Alexander. 53 seconds left on the clock. Kurt Allerman on the stop. Elsewhere around the league, the Pittsburgh Steelers on top of the Minnesota Vikings, 23-3 in the third. Seattle on top of Houston now, 26-0. That game is in the third period as well. Baltimore has come back on a Burt Jones to Curtis Hickey pass, 17-17, that game in the third. New England beating the New York Jets 21-6. Jets could go 0-5 if they lose today. Denver and Cleveland 16-13 in favor of the Broncos. They went ahead on a field goal of 41 yards by Fred Steinfurt. And in the third quarter, Atlanta destroying the previously unbeaten Detroit Lions 34-6. Washington trailing Philadelphia 21-7. St. Louis on top of New Orleans 30-7. On Saturday, October 18th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, NBC Sports World returns live. It's a 10-round light heavyweight bout between undefeated Michael Spinks and Yaki Lopez. Then some of the greatest names in bowling go pin for pin in the legends of bowling, plus live World Series report. All Saturday, October 18th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, following the World Series here on NBC Sports.
Kenny Anderson had a long talk with Forrest Gregg on the sideline, and it was whether we're going for it or we're going to just play it conservative and go in with this score.
Well, it looks like the rule of thumb was to play it conservative. Again, it gives to Charles Alexander. 36 seconds left on the clock. First down chains being moved.
They're trying to hurry up, but they're not very excited about calling a timeout, Mike.
They have the ball in the 28. Anderson has got Pete Johnson out in the right flat. Gains about 4 or 5 yards for number 56. Ed O'Neill makes the stop, and they call timeout.
So they are going to go at least to try and get in field goal position. They have 1 timeout left, and the one thing that gives an advantage to the Green Bay defense, Mike, they know they got to protect the sideline so that a guy can't get out of bounds and save those timeouts. But if I were Kenny Anderson, I'd send my tight end right up the gut and see if I can get some good field position.
You know what I hope they don't do, and I think every fan in the NFL hopes they don't do this, is go into that prevent defense, because inevitably what happens, 2 minutes or less on the clock, boom, 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 pass, 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 right down the field, and you wonder why they didn't use that kind of offense all throughout the game. I'd like to see them continue to apply the same kind of pressure they did before.
You've got to put pressure on the main man, and that's the quarterback. It doesn't make any difference what the coverage is in the secondary. If he's hurried, it doesn't make any difference how much time on the clock or what defense you're using. He's going to have a difficult afternoon throwing the ball.
Pretty close to a sellout crowd here in Lambeau Field. There were plenty of tickets before the game started, but every fan here getting their money's worth. I don't think they expected their team to be on top, especially with all the problems that they have had today. 1-3 in the season, but they lead the Bengals here with 16 seconds to go in the first half, 14-6. Anderson brings the Bengals out of the huddle. Look at that situation. 3 wide receivers on the right side.
They're going for the bomb and try to tip it. Kenny Anderson will just throw it up.
Green Bay doesn't have it covered properly. Here's the shot. 24, Johnny Gray there back to make the stop. He only had one quarterback out there, 3 wide receivers. He must know how Custer felt when he saw the Indians.
3 wide receivers. This is the Big Ben play that Atlanta used 2 years ago to get in the playoffs. And the idea here is just to throw it up, let one of the receivers at least tip the ball, and hope that the right color jersey catches it. Poor Johnny Gray, he was surrounded. Circle the wagons.
Thankfully for Green Bay, it didn't work. So Cincinnati faced now with a 3rd and 4 situation. They have 1 timeout left with 9 seconds left to go here in the first half. They trail by 8.
May see another hope pass. All 3 wide receivers going wide right again, Mike.
They got Steve Kreider and McAnally, Pat. Isaac Curtis out there. Again, same play. Anderson going for broke. And this time, Gray intercepts. He's at the 30. He's at the 40. Isaac Curtis comes back to make the stop as time has expired here in the first half. So the Green Bay Packers finally performing up to their expectations. We've got a little altercation on the sideline there between a whole host of Bengals and Green Bay Packers. But they have a right to be very proud, the Packers do. They have accounted well for themselves. They lead the Cincinnati Bengals 14-6. Lynn Dickey has been outstanding. We'll be back with the score 14-6 right after this. The preceding announcement was furnished by the National Football League. Mike Hafner, we have a real deja vu if you're a Green Bay Packer fan. This edition of the Green Bay Packers look like the 65, 66, 67 teams. They have been sensational this afternoon. Everybody all week long, all year long, has been down on Bart Starr and his quarterback, Lynn Dickey. But the both of them, they've called an excellent game, and Lynn Dickey has been outstanding.
That's been the perfection. I know when the Green Bay Packer offense goes into the huddle, looks into the quarterback's eyes, Lynn Dickey, they say, hey, this guy's got it back, and we're going to reach for that extra 5%. And they've looked outstanding. This looks like the Packer club that I grew up with.
Early on, the Bengals got some very good field position, but it was the Green Bay defense, which has been maligned as well this season, that stood very tough. Last year, they were not so hot in the NFC. They ranked pretty close to dead last against the rush and against the pass. But today, the play of the interior 3 people, Ezra Johnson, Charles Johnson, and Mike Butler, they've been great, as well as the defensive back.
Another thing that an outstanding offensive performance will do is fire up your defense. They're keeping them off the field. They're fresh. And when you get the defense fresh and they know they've got a lead, they get excited. They're not down 51-10 again. This time they're ahead, and they really love it, and they play well.
We'll have a last interception look, the one by Johnny Gray, against that interesting formation employed by the Cincinnati Bengals. 3 wide receivers.
The Big Ben play, and here again, they want to tip it up. But this is the second time they tried it. The first time, Johnny Gray, the defensive back, didn't know what to do. He circled the wagons. This time, he knew how to play it. He went up, got at the height of the ball, made a good return, and closed out the half with the Packers leading.
Well, they're very well coached, the defensive secondary coach. We talked to him yesterday, Ross Fiedner. He knows his men are all hard workers. In spite of all the tremendous pressure that the team has had to endure this year, they have played extremely well. Your impression so far?
I'm very impressed with the way that Bart Starr has handled the situation. Very much pressure from the media. Some of his players, as a matter of fact, who he had let go, maligned him a bit, said he was tyrannical. In fact, one day He walked in with a Who Shot JR t-shirt and a cowboy hat and just blew the team away, and I think that really helped. He broke that pressure and tension, the pressure of being Bart Starr, and said, hey, let's go out and play football, and they are today.
A lot of personal pride at stake here. They're going against his counterpart, Forrest Gregg. NFL 80 halftime activities will continue in a moment. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. But the 14-6 Packer lead is not the only surprise around the NFL today. There's some very interesting surprises going on.
You've got a story about Detroit. When that score comes up, I want you to tell the people, because, you know, you and I get in the locker room quite often. We get to talk to the players and their feelings about the National Football League and their games coming up. And when we get to these scores, we'll give them some of the inside stuff.
Well, let's get started. In Bloomington, Minnesota this afternoon, the Pittsburgh Steelers on top of the Vikings 26-3. Second week in a row that they are picking upon a Central Division NFC opponent. Seattle and Houston. This was a game that Houston thought they could beat the Seahawks 26-0. Zorn must be riddling the Houston secondary.
You know, it's really interesting about Seattle. Usually on the road, they play well. At home, they play lousy. They're on the road against Houston today, and they're blowing them out. So, again, the Seahawks playing well on the road.
Zorn, 2 touchdown passes in that game to Sam McCullum. Baltimore, Miami tied at 17 apiece. Burt Jones tied the game with a 1-yard touchdown pass to their number 1 draft choice, Curtis Dickey. But Bob Greasy has played well also. You saw the Dolphins earlier this year.
2 touchdown passes by Greasy, and I said on one of the telecasts that I did at Miami, I thought Greasy was through. And Don Strock got the starting call. He couldn't cut it. They put the old man back in again, and he's amazing. Shula just keeps coming up with time after time with a winning club, and you don't know how he does it.
Before the season started, with Richard Todd and their number 1 draft choice, Lamb Jones, and Wesley Walker, everybody thought the New York Jets were going to be the surprise new powerhouse in the NFL. They are not that way. They are trailing the New England Patriots in the fourth quarter, 21-9, a real who'da thunk it.
You know, I think the defense at the New York Jets was much overrated, Mike. They can't keep anyone from scoring. And if you don't let the offense on the field to use a Lamb Jones or a Wesley Walker or to take advantage of a Richard Todd, then you're going to lose, and they're 0-5.
Denver and Cleveland, you're well familiar with the Denver situation. They need to win desperately. Right now they are tied with the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland, Ohio at 16-16. That game is in the third quarter, a game of field goals by Freddie Steinfurt and Don Cockcroft. Brian Sipe has thrown a touchdown pass there as well. What about the Matt Robinson situation? You're on top of that, Michael.
Matt Robinson's an outstanding quarterback. Their problems on defense, Mike, they've been decimated by injuries, and that vaunted orange crush is no longer.
We talked about the surprises. Well, how about this one? Before today's game, the Detroit Lions, the real surprise in the NFL, they were 4-0, but in the third quarter, they find themselves behind the Atlanta Falcons 36-6. Defensive back James Hunter from the Detroit Lions has a theme song. It's called Another One Bites the Dust, but today it looks like the Lions are going to do the biting.
Steve Bartkowski and Atlanta are tough at home, and Billy Sims has been shut down today, something that the 4 previous weeks couldn't be done.
A lot of good special teams play on the part of the Falcons. A blocked punt by Frank Reed resulted in a touchdown. Buddy Curry recovered a fumble in the end zone for another touchdown, and another fumble recovery by Joel Williams in the end zone. Another touchdown to a complete breakdown on the part of the Detroit Lions. Washington, another team that needs desperately to win. They trail the Philadelphia Eagles, who were upset by the St. Louis Cardinals last week. They trailed 24-7. Ron Jaworski's been pretty hot, huh?
Hit Leroy Harris for a 51-yard touchdown pass, and then Harold Carmichael, who catches one every week, a 6-yarder from Jaworski, and it's going to be very tough for anybody to stop Vermeil's Eagles.
The story here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, the play of the Green Bay Packers. They went into this contest 1-3. They had not played well in any of their contests, with perhaps the exception of the opener against the Bears, in which they won 12-6. They were blown out by the Los Angeles Rams 51-21. Got beat last week by the Dallas Cowboys, but on top today. You know, if you've been following the baseball situation, this 1980 season, with the in addition to the exciting pennant races, has been made even more memorable by the bat of George Brett. As of course you know, he's been going after that elusive 400 batting average. How he's doing? Well, today is the last game of the regular season. Let's go to Brian Gumble in New York for a George Brett update. Brian, how's things going? This 1980 National Football League game is brought to you by Schlitz, the Master Brewer's Brew. It's today's Schlitz. Go for it. By Dodge with the new 6-passenger Dodge Aries K and the new Ram Cup Dodge pickups and vans. By the revolutionary new twin-action Norelco Rotatrack Razor. And by Mobil 1, the oil that saves you gas and more compared to conventional 10W40 motor oils. It's halftime here in Green Bay. I'm Mike Adamley along with Michael Hafner. And Mike, in Madison Avenue in New York, they spell relief a certain way. We can't mention it, but here in Green Bay, they spell it how?
It's very easy for Lynn Dickey. 14 of 17 for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's confidence.
D-I-C-K-E-Y. That's relief here in Green Bay. We'll be back with the second half kickoff. Again, the score, Green Bay 14, Cincinnati 6. We're just about ready for the second half kickoff. You look at Cincinnati coach Forrest Gregg. Upset. It'd be interesting to find out, if we ever do, what he talked to his team about at halftime. His team trails the Packers 14-6. Hunter's kick is fielded by number 29, Mike McCoy. Finds running room. He's across the 30, out to the 40-yard line. So Green Bay gets good field position this time.
And again, the special teams play of the Green Bay Packers has shown up, and they've given their offense great field position all afternoon.
Dick Geron on the tackle for Cincinnati. 32-yard return for Mike McCoy. Offensively for Green Bay, the running backs, Gary Ellis and Eddie Lee Ivory. You know that Lynn Dickey has done an outstanding job at quarterback. Lofton Thompson, the wideouts. Paul Kaufman, the tight end. 1st and 10, ball on their own 40-yard line. Give is to Eddie Lee Ivory over the right side of that Packer line. Leotis Harris, Greg Cook, opening up holes. Ross Browner, number 79. Third-year man from Notre Dame, makes the stop. Dickey looking to the sidelines for the next play. John Thompson, number 83, now in the ballgame, along with Paul Kaufman, 2 tight ends. 2nd down, 7, ball on the 43. Thompson, motion right. He's lined up as a wide receiver. Ellis following the block of Leotis Harris, almost gets first down, and finally knocked out of bounds by number 55, Jim LeClaire, the 9-year veteran out of North Dakota, also the team captain.
Again, there's that Cincinnati defense. The 3-4, very difficult to run outside, but Gary Ellis that time dipped in, and he got a linebacker blocked, so he broke to the outside, and he's about a yard and a half short.
Following the block of number 69, Leotis Harris. 3rd down situation for the Pack. They have been exceptional this afternoon. 6 for 7 in 3rd down efficiency. Thompson is tight to the left. Ellis, Ivory, give is to Ellis. He's got the first down inside Cincinnati territory down to the 40-yard line. Glenn Cameron and number 47, the safety, Greg Wright, on the tackle.
John Thompson, the tight end, made an outstanding block here. He comes down on the down block, and you see him take 55, Jim LeClaire, right out of it.
And a good block by number 82, Paul Kaufman on Reggie Williams.
You got to block the linebackers in the 3-4, and they did it perfectly and got the first down.
1st and 10, ball in the Cincinnati 45. Green Bay again on the move. Here it is, Lofton working one-on-one. Ray Griffin, can he go up? Griffin makes an excellent play and tips the ball away from Jim Lofton.
Ray Griffin got a little bump in before the ball got there, but the back judge was right on top of it, and he makes the call. Now watch Griffin, 44. It's a one-on-one pass. Dickey's only looking one place. Lofton again trying to put it over the defensive back. There's Ray Griffin, who just got a hand up and tipped it away. That was 6 if he doesn't make that play.
The thing that makes Lofton so effective, he knows how to use his body. He bends into the defensive back, and at the last second, he pulls himself away. That's what resulted in that first touchdown pass from Dickey.
I wonder if Barishnikov is the offensive receiver coach.
I don't know. I think Barishnikov could play if he knew anything about American football. Got a 56-inch vertical leap. 2nd down 10 for Green Bay. Ball in the 45. Little flip out to Gary Ellis. Across the 40. Down to the 40. inside the 40 on about the 38-yard line. See who made the stop, Bo Harris getting off the pile. Also 44, Ray Griffin there, 27, Ryan Hicks. He's just a rookie.
Zeke Bratkowski must have listened to me. Throw to the back. And they've been very successful setting up their wide receivers by throwing to the back. That means the linebacker can't take the deep drop, Mike. And so he has to come up and protect against the pass, and that opens up the wide receivers, Lofton and Thompson.
Number 64, Sid Kitson, a rookie out of Wake Forest, has replaced Leotis Harris as right guard. 3rd and 3 situation for the Packers. And Dickey goes back to pass again. He's got time, but he's in trouble. He gets it away. There's Lofton wide open. Dixeron on the stop. And Lynn Dickey gets off the hook, and he's down on the field right now. Ross Browner really nailed him, and he's about to throw. He's up. He's all right. And look at Leotis Harris come in there to pat him on the back, or rather number 68, Greg Cook. That's how you get respect for your quarterback.
I'll tell you, when you're having a great day like he's having, you don't get hurt. That little ding that you get all of a sudden goes away real quick.
Cincinnati is really confused on defense at the moment. 22 yards in that pass reception.
Lynn Dickey will not be denied. And I'll tell you, Lofton made a great catch. You got to keep your concentration because I know he heard Duran's footsteps coming after him.
Well, they've got a 1st and 10 on the Cincinnati 17. Kaufman motion left. Give is to Ellis. He's got one blocker in front of him. 57 go for it. Picks up about 4 yards. Mark Concar, 79, was signaling to the referee face mask. Apparently they didn't see it.
The one way to get outside against a 3-4 defense, and you can't do it very often, is the misdirection play. And that was kind of a crossbuck where they pulled the guard away and then sent Ellis to the right. And he did get outside. And look at those stats on Lynn Dickey. Holy cow, 15 of 18, 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'll take those every day of the week.
Steve Atkins, 32, is checked into the backfield for the Packers, along with Eddie Lee Ivory, number 40. Thompson wide to the right, Lofton wide to the left. Dickey looks like he's confused. Could be a broken play. Finally, 53, Bo Harris, coming from his inside linebacker position, or outside linebacker position, nails Dickey in the backfield.
Here's a perfect example of a running back that didn't know where to go. This was supposed to be play action. It looked like it was supposed to be a fake to Eddie Lee Ivory, and he didn't even make the fake. And that didn't hold the linebackers. And there you see Bo Harris and Jim LeClaire both right on top of Lynn Dickey.
Quite a story, this man. Fractured his leg in 1977, had a pin put in it, had the pin removed last year, came back to play very well in place of David Whitehurst at the end of the season. Separated shoulder. He deserves, if anybody deserves a better fate, it's Lynn Dickey. He fumbles the ball on that play, though, and apparently recovers his own fumble.
And again, we'll point out that Larry McCarron, the center, has a broken finger on his right hand, and that's causing him problems with the snapback to Dickey.
It's the second exchange mistake they have made this afternoon.
Take a look real close, and you see that Dickey never got the ball. It looked like a snap that moved up his wrists instead of into his hands.
So Chester Markle is on the field right now. He'll be attempting a 30-yard field goal, 40-yard field goal. David Beverly set the hold. And Beverly fumbles the snap and doesn't get it off. So a chance to go ahead. The Green Bay Packers could have gone on top 17-16. Instead, they settle for their 8-point lead. We'll be back with the Cincinnati Bengals putting it in play right after this. Mike Adamle and Mike Hafner back here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, Lambeau Field. We have been blessed with a marvelous football afternoon. Bright and sunny, temperature 50 degrees. If you just joined us, Bengals trailing the Packers surprisingly 14-6. Cincinnati's ball, 1st and 10, give it to Charles Alexander, up the middle for 4 or 5 yards. Recapping the scoring, the Packers trailed early 6-0 after 2 field goals by Ian Hunter, one of 20 yards, another of 34 yards after a Packer fumble. But then it was all Green Bay. Lynn Dickey has had himself an outstanding afternoon. A 15-yard touchdown pass to James Lofton and an 8-yard touchdown pass to Steve Atkins, the running back from Maryland.
That after a 92-yard drive, Mike.
2nd down and 5. Give us to Pete Johnson. He's got the first down. Rumbles out past the 40, almost to the 45-yard line.
Two good calls by Kenny Anderson, the quarterback for Cincinnati. He hasn't panicked. He's down by 8, but he's still setting up the running game. And he's a veteran quarterback and knows not to get scared because he's down by 8.
That critical fumble on the snap by David Beverly may come back to haunt Green Bay. They could have been up by 11, 17-6. Instead, they're hanging on to an 8-point lead. Cincinnati first and 10, ball on their own 45-yard line. Single setback is Charles Alexander. He gets the call and fumbles the ball. Momentarily grabs it, and he's stacked up in the middle by Charles Johnson and Ezra Johnson.
Again, that nose tackle is very important because he leads the runner to the two inside linebackers, and in this case, both of Green Bay's inside linebackers, Ed O'Neill and Kurt Alderman, were right there to stop Charles Alexander the Great. Boy, he had a great career at LSU.
Two-time All-American there. Having trouble getting his good start here in Cincinnati. Pete Johnson back into the ballgame, along with Archie Griffin, number 45. Second and 10. Anderson back to pass. There's M.L. Harris, 83, in and out of his hands. As we look at the tight end, M.L. Harris, a good time to mention about James Lofton, who's had an outstanding afternoon. He has not had a game over 100 yards since December 9th of last year. Today he has 101 right now. This is only in the third quarter.
And his first touchdown reception of the year, too. And a great receiver like that, it's tough to hold him back, and today's his day.
Third and 10 now for Cincinnati. They're only 1 and 4 in these situations. Anderson's stats suffered 2 interceptions. Archie Griffin is the wingback. Anderson stumbles and falls down. And there's that knee maybe we were talking about.
That left knee collapsed, Mike, when he was going back. And we'll see if he's hurt. Now he's walking off all right. That brace held up. But let's take a look at him as he pulls away from center. Let's see if the left knee does crumble. Keep your eye on it. He's been having problems with it, and he tripped himself. That's what it was, and it's because of that knee. He's got to think about it.
So Pat McAnally, number 87, punting for Cincinnati, back deep. Ron Cassidy, number 88. Cassidy is second-year man out of Utah State. Here's McAnally's kick. He missed it. End over end, fielded by number 22, Mark Lee. On the 14-yard line, that's where the Green Bay Packers will put the ball in play. They lead the Bengals 14-6 in the third. Next week on NBC Sports, exciting NFL action continues with a doubleheader. First join Brian Gumbel in NFL 80 for an up-to-the-minute look at news, scores, and highlights, plus a special feature on violence in sports. Then most of you will see the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Cincinnati Bengals, and then the Oakland Raiders battle the San Diego Chargers. Plus those other regional games, check your listings for the game and time in your area. Third quarter action here, Packers ball at their own 16, first and 10, 6:55 remaining in the third quarter. Pitch, right side, Atkins, gains 2 or 3, stopped by number 57, or number 67, Gary Burley, who's just come into the game. Burley, the fifth-year man out of Pittsburgh. You might recall a couple years back, he was the man who broke Fran Tarkington's leg, unintentionally, of course.
And, of course, when he was in there with the other front three, it was the web.
Right.
Whitley, Edwards, and then Burley and Browning.
Second and 7. Dickey, give to Eddie Lee Ivory. Doesn't get too much running room across the 21-yard line. Third down and 3.5.
The idea is to run inside against the 3-4. Here's Wilson Whitley, and he's supposed to stand up that center and then force them towards the linebackers. And you see both Glenn Cameron and Jim LeClaire in on the tackle after Whitley stood the center up and jammed up the situation so that they can make the linebackers make the tackle.
Officials have spotted the ball just inside the 21-yard line, 3rd and 5 situation. 5:40 to go here in the third quarter. Packers lead by 8, 14-6. Dickey back to pass. His Ivory trips and stumbles. He was open for a moment. Bo Harris on the cover.
Good example of that one bump inside of 5 yards. And Harris bumped into Eddie Lee Ivory and threw him off balance, and they couldn't complete the pass.
So for only the second time this afternoon, the Green Bay Packers will have to punt. Lynn Dickey leaving the field. In his stead comes number 11, David Beverly. Back deep for Cincinnati, Cleosa Montgomery, number 28. Little rookie out of Abilene Christian.
And he runs like his brother, Mike. He's awful small, though.
Oh, Beverly hits a nice high spiral, sends Montgomery back to his 34-yard line, cuts up the middle across the 40, out to the 45-yard line, knocked down by number 84, Fred Nixon. Packers lead 14-6 with 5:20 remaining here in the third quarter. We talked before the game that the Packer Executive Committee gave Bart Starr a vote of confidence. They would not review the situation until after the season. An interesting poll was conducted by the Wisconsin Research Team. They're a political group that conducts those kind of polls. We have some interesting statistics. We'll tell you about them after this play. Anderson flips out to Charles Alexander. Ooh. Everybody was there. Number 59, John Anderson, led the charge.
Don't run outside against the 3-4. We've been telling them all day. Here are the questions that were asked by the research company. Should they fire Starr? The fans said 58% no, 37% yes. Should Starr resign? 49% no, 47% yes. 67% of the fans said both general manager and head coach was too tough for one man. And then the final one, and I said it's not Starr's fault, new blood on the executive committee, 67% yes, 22% no. Not all Bart Starr's fault.
Second down 11 for Cincinnati. Give us a Charles Alexander. Got good running room finally over Anthony Munoz, big number 78. Mike Douglas on the stop, number 53. First time they have gone Munoz's way.
And I'll tell you, with a guy that big, I'd run over him every time. Plus, he's been protecting well today, although Ezra Johnson has snuck in a couple of times. We'll watch close to see if Montoya's a factor.
Munoz
is a factor.
He reminds a lot of professional scouts of the great Colts tackle, Jim Parker. He's that size, and he really can annihilate people. Leroy Selman said that he is the best rookie he's ever faced. Cincinnati, 3rd and 6 on their own 48. Johnson, the single setback. Anderson looking to throw. Kreider, number 86, breaks the pattern.
Oh, that receiver will get a word from his receiver coach. He was supposed to go deep. He broke the pattern to the up. Kenny Anderson didn't know it, and he makes the quarterback look bad, and you get in trouble for that.
Little hook and go shot, it looked like, and Kreider just broke it off, as you said. Anderson talking to Forrest Gregg on the sideline, along with the guilty party, Mr. Steve Kreider.
What happened, son?
So Pat McAnally again back to punt and back deep this time. Number 88, Ron Cassidy. My spotter assures me that it's Ron Cassidy.
McAnally's got the wind in his face, what wind there is.
Packer defense has been extremely tough. Cincinnati has not been able to generate much offense right now. There's a punt by Patrick. Woo! He nailed that one. High spiral. Cassidy calls for the fair catch on his 8-yard line. 88, Mike Levenseller down there on the coverage. So with the score, Green Bay 14, Cincinnati 6. We'll be back. NBC brought it to television first. The spectacular plays, the memorable moments. The World Series is back where it belongs. Beginning Tuesday, October 14th, in prime time, all here on NBC Sports. Here in Green Bay, Mike Adamle along with Mike Hafner watching the Packers on offense. They lead 14-6 here in the third quarter, but they have the ball deep in their own territory on the 8th. Give us to Steve Atkins trying to run wide again, Mike.
He'll never listen to me. Can't run wide against the 3-4. But again, the Packers have gone 92 yards once today, and it's up to the Cincinnati defense now to keep them here, no first down, and give their offense some field position and one more shot to get back in this game.
Well, as outstanding as Green Bay's offense has been, they only have an 8-point lead, and we still have a lot of time in this ball game. Critical fumble snap by David Beverly could have resulted in a Chester Markle field goal. It did not. So Green Bay could use some insurance. Second down, 8. Give to Eddie Lee Ivory. He gets a couple before Burley brings him down out across the 8 to the 12, where it'll be 3rd down and 6.
2 1-2-3 punts can turn the momentum. And Cincinnati, if they can hold them here and get good field position after a punt, could turn the momentum towards them and go down. And if they get a score, Mike, this is a whole new ball game.
I'm really surprised that Cincinnati has not elected to run Pete Johnson a little bit more, all of their running backs a little bit more. They have been successful in the past. Had a lot of yardage against Houston last week, over 100 yards on the ground.
5 defensive backs, Mike, for Cincinnati.
Lewis Frieden, the nickel man, number 34, gives to Eddie Lee Ivory. Going wide again. He doesn't get the first down. Stopped short at the 14-yard line. 79, Ross Browner was there. So was Gary Burley again.
The fans are getting restless. They must be listening to us. You can't run outside. You saw the great pursuit. Ivory, even though with his great moves, couldn't make any yardage. And now Cincinnati's got a chance to turn this game around right here.
Well, Beverly is standing about a foot in his own end zone. Set to punt, 3rd time he's had to do so today. And back deep at his own 46-yard line is number 28, Cleotha Montgomery. 10 men for Cincinnati rushing the punt. McAnally or Beverly gets it off. A short kick, a very short kick. Only crosses the Green Bay 40, rolls across the 45, and it's going to be down there. So Cincinnati will again get some great field position. They are going to need it. They trail by 8, 14-6. Crowd of 55,000 plus on hand here at Lambeau Field, enjoying this 14-6 Packer lead right now here with 1:36 to go in the 3rd quarter. But Cincinnati has got great field position on their own 46-yard line.
No play action pass, Kenny.
Not play action, but a pass out to Archie Griffin to the 40-yard line, where number 53, Mike Douglas, was there. Also, Kurt Ollerman, the inside left-right linebacker.
At least he threw the ball, and when you get a good turnover advantage with that short punt that time, you've got to go right after the defense, and he did with the pass play.
2nd down, 5. Ball on the 40-yard line. Archie Griffin drops back to the I formation. Anderson gives to Griffin. He goes nowhere. What a play by Ezra Johnson. Number 90, 6'4", 240 pounds, out of Morris Brown. A first-round draft choice in '77. He's a load when he wants to play. He diagnosed that play perfectly. Elsewhere around the league, Detroit making a comeback of sorts. They still trail by quite a bit, 43-28 in the 4th quarter. Third down, 6. Ball at the Green Bay 41. Packers offside. Kenny Anderson continues the play. Broken up by Mike McCoy, but they'll be assessed the penalty.
I don't think Anderson saw the flag that time. Usually, Mike, when you know there's been a flag and you jump offside, you take a chance then. Throw it up over the middle. Try and get a touchdown. If it gets picked off, so what? It's going to come back because of the penalty.
3rd and down situation. Just 17 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. It's been a rough day all around for the Cincinnati Bengals. Packers have had the best of things. Here's Jerry Markwright with the call.
Offside, number 77, defense, 3rd down.
Mike Butler, number 77, the guilty party. 3rd and 1.
Trying to get that edge on the pass rush. He knew it was passed, and he wanted to get a jump on the ball and jump too soon.
Ball's on the 36-yard line. Cincinnati needs the first down. They have not been too successful so far today. Give us to Alexander 40. He's got it. Inside to 35, down to the 34-yard line. Getting off the pile, number 60, Ollerman. Also number 90, Edward Johnson. Into the game now for Cincinnati comes Steve Kreider, 86, and 45, Archie Griffin. But that's the end of the 3rd quarter. The score, Green Bay 14, Cincinnati only 6. We'll be right back after these messages for your local station. Automobile Redmond, Wisconsin. A sunny day, 50 degrees, a couple of bratwursts, and a 14-6 Packer lead. Mike Adamley along with Mike Hafner back here in Lambeau Field. Fourth quarter action. It's been quite a game for the Packers. Neither team has scored in the third quarter. Cincinnati now on the move. They have the ball on the Green Bay 34-yard line. Pete Johnson and Archie Griffin's a setback. Number 89, Dan Ross in motion. Anderson in trouble. There's Ezra Johnson. Gets the ball off. It is tipped. And we've got a flag on play. All kinds of flags. See if we can sort out the confusion here.
Jerry Markbright will tell us, Mike.
Ezra Johnson, number 90, had Kenny Anderson all wrapped up. It was all Kenny could do to get out of that jam. He threw the ball. Let's see what the call is.
I'm very surprised they didn't blow the whistle when Kenny Anderson was in the grasp of a defensive player. Here comes Jerry Markbright to tell us what happened. I don't think he's figured it out yet either.
This is the old who's on first routine. There it comes.
It's a completed forward pass. It's second down. The pass was tipped by a defender. There is no foul.
Anybody can catch the ball, Mike, after a defensive player has tipped it. And it was Anthony Munoz who became a wide receiver instead of the offensive tackle.
Well, they have that pro offense out at USC. I'm sure all the tackles had to run patterns there as well. If you've just joined us, this is how the scoring has went. Cincinnati jumped off to a 6-0 lead, 2 field goals by Ian Sunter. Then Green Bay right back with 2 touchdown passes. Lynn Dickey first to James Lawson, and then the second time to Steve Atkins. Second down and 16 on the 40. Green Bay offside. Anderson goes ahead with the play. There's Strider all alone, but it's intercepted. It's not going to count, however. Johnny Gray picked it off, number 24, but Green Bay was definitely offside.
You got it. Jerry Markbright says offside on Green Bay, and 2 offside penalties have kept this drive alive. I'll tell you, the momentum's going to change if Green Bay doesn't start to think. It's not physical mistakes they're making, it's mental mistakes, and those are hard to control.
We don't want to sound like we're in Bart Starr's corner, but again, he doesn't have to play. You know, he can't play defensive line. It's those little things that his old Packers used to do that.
Offside, number 77, defense, second down.
Again, Mike Butler offside, second time in this second half that he's done so. The old Packers didn't used to do that kind of stuff, and I think that's what bothers Bart the most. Anyway, Cincinnati getting ever closer to the Green Bay goal line. Second down 11. Ball's now resting on the 35. Slot formation to the right. Bass at Strider. Strider the slot man. Anderson back to pass. He's looking for Bass. And another great save by Johnny Gray. The free agent from Cal State Fullerton. Outstanding play.
You talked about it, a free agent. He started every game for the Packers since he walked on this field, and he's made 3 great plays exactly like this today. And you can get pass interference if you put a hand on somebody's back, but he's right out in front, perfect timing on the ball, and Mr. Gray has kept the Packers ahead in this football game. Those 3 receptions that he's knocked away could have turned this game around.
Mike Jolly, number 21, has come in. Third down 11, nickel back situation for Green Bay. 3 wide receivers for Cincinnati. Anderson, back to pass. Butler pressuring him. Ball is underthrown. And Green Bay's defense has held once again. So Cincinnati will have to punt. There's Strider, number 86. He was the intended receiver. Again, he fell down. Happened to him back in the second quarter.
Better get longer cleats on the bottom of his shoe. I'll tell you what. I'd love to see Cincinnati fake the punt and throw a pass or run in this situation. They've got nothing to lose.
Green Bay has to be ready for it because Dallas's Danny White ran 48 yards out of punt formation last week, which really killed Green Bay. So I'm sure Green Bay's prepared. Ron Cassidy, 88, back deep, single safety at the 15 or at the 10-yard line, but I'm sure McAnally wants to nail this inside the 10 and out of bounds. Here's the punt. Right up the middle. Cassidy signals for the fair catch. Levenseller was there to keep it from going into the end zone. Number 88, Mike Levenseller. He's a sensational little special teams player. And again, Green Bay is going to have the ball, but very, very deep in their own territory. The Packers are nursing a 14-6 lead with 14:23 remaining in the fourth quarter. That's how the game stands. Sunshine and 50 here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Packers on top of the Cincinnati Bengals here in the fourth quarter, 14-6. But they're deep in their own territory. Ball resting on the 3 after that Cincinnati punt. Gary Ellis and Eddie Lee Ivory, the setbacks for Cincinnati. Give us to Ellis, the fullback. He's got a little running room across the 5 to the 6-yard line. There's Ross Browner and number 50, Glenn Cameron, on the stop.
Very important that Green Bay get a first down in this drive.
Second down and 6. You want to see how Mike Hafner and myself stayed in the league for all these years? It was special teams play. Number 88, you can't see him right now. There he is coming back out of the end zone. Tips the ball, keeps it in play, and bang. Packers deep in their own territory.
My story, backup wide receiver who plays good special teams.
I'm sorry, Mike.
That's all right.
Second down 6. Give us to Ivory, out to the 10, where it'll be third down and about 3. Elsewhere around the league, fourth quarter, Pittsburgh hanging on 23-17 against Minnesota. Seattle on top of Houston, a real surprise, 26-7 in the Kingdome. In Houston, rather. Miami 17, Baltimore 30, 30-17, that's the final. Kind of a surprise. The Jets lost their 5th in a row to New England, 21-17.
Walt Michaels in trouble.
Third and 3. Give us the Ivory. Around the left side. Doesn't get the first down, or does he? Let's see the spot.
Oh, they moved the ball back, Mike. I don't think he made it.
There's that Jets final again. New England 21, Jets 11. Jets lose their 5th consecutive game.
And the New York press will be all over Walt Michaels.
Boy, that is for sure. Not to mention Richard Todd. Let's see how they mark this ball. First down, Green Bay. It couldn't have come at a more critical moment.
That was very, very important.
In the fourth quarter, Denver has gone on top of Cleveland. Another Fred Steinfort field goal, no doubt. They need that win big. Atlanta on top of the Detroit Lions, a real surprise, 43-28 in the fourth. Lynn Dickey had himself quite an afternoon, calling the signal. Give us to Ellis. Leonis Harris, 69 out in front of him, runs over Ray Griffin.
He dropped that football, Mike, but I think he got it back. What a break for Green Bay.
Green Bay's been fortunate in that regard this afternoon.
You hear the air go out of all 55,000. Oh, help.
Philadelphia defeats the Washington Redskins, 24-14. Eagles now up their record of 4-1. Big win for them, a tough loss for Jack Party. And how about the Cardinals? Upset victors last week over the Eagles. Today coming up big against the Saints, 40-7. That's to a final. Second down, 7 for the Packers. Ball on their own 17-yard line. Give us to Eddie Lee Ivory, number 40, running outside again. Glenn Cameron on the stop. 34 defense. We have preached it all afternoon. You just can't go wide.
Glenn Cameron was in the backfield running just as fast as Eddie Lee Ivory, and you've got to run inside the tackles against that 3-4.
Michael, we've got 11:27 remaining in the fourth quarter. Are you a little bit surprised that Bart, so desperate for a win here, has gotten as conservative as he has?
Yes, I've always said when you've got a lead, you're deep in your own territory, throw the play-action pass as often as you can.
3rd and 8. Ball's at the 15. Here's Dickey. He's got Ellis, the fullback, but not enough for the first down out to the 20-yard line. Bo Harris is there, so is Reggie Williams, but they're going to have to punt again.
Too late to throw to the backs on 3rd and long. You should throw it on 2nd and long. And here's a look at Kaufman, the tight end. He's trying to get the crossing pattern and see the linebackers do the bump on him. They only get one inside, and he had to go to the back, and he didn't get enough yardage for the first down.
So Cleotha Montgomery finds himself in another familiar situation, at least in the second half. He's back in single safety at his own 40-yard line, 39-yard line, waiting for David Beverly's punt, his 4th of the game. Low snap, he picks it up. End over end, fair catch signal by Montgomery. He fumbles the ball. It looks like number 84 is on top of it. Freddie Nixon was the first man down on the coverage.
I think it bounced back to Montgomery, Mike. He got lucky.
I guess. Rio Montgomery, lucky man on that play. Fumbled the fair catch signal. Freddie Nixon was there. Packers are holding on to a 14-6 lead. We have 10-10 to go here in the fourth quarter. We're here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where the score is 14-6 in favor of the Packers. 10-10 left to go here in the fourth quarter. It's been all Green Bay. Nothing much has been happening here in the third quarter. Look at Kenny Anderson. Mike Adamle and Mike Hafner back in Green Bay, Wisconsin. If you've just joined us, the score is Green Bay 14, Cincinnati 6. Somewhat of a surprise. Lynn Dickey, the quarterback for the Packers, has had himself an outstanding afternoon. 18 completions in 23 attempts, 193 yards. Michael?
2 touchdowns, 1 to James Lofton, the great receiver who caught his first of the year. He also has started to throw to his backs. He hit Steve Atkins for a touchdown, his fullback, and the Packers have played very well under a very confident quarterback this afternoon.
Look at Anderson over his center. Blair Bush calling the shots. He needs to get his team on the board. Strider in motion. Right side, he's cutting across the middle. There's Griffin out in the right flat. Makes the reception good for about 8 yards. Knocked out of bounds by number 60, Kurt Allerman. Steve Strider was wide over the middle.
Anderson with that bad left knee, and it's only bothered him once today, Mike. He tripped and fell when the knee gave a bit on him. In that situation, here's Kenny Anderson, the veteran quarterback, throwing to his back. The NFL has legislated for the pass. The defense is in trouble, and Anderson is the best at it, but hasn't been able to utilize it.
Number 83, reserve tight end ML Harris is checked into the game. 2 wide receivers left in the slot formation. The give is to Pete Johnson up the middle, down to the 40-yard line. First down. Mike Douglas on the stop.
2 good calls by Kenny Anderson. He opened up with a play-action pass on first down and then ran the ball on second down. The Packers, on the other hand, have been playing it conservative, running 2 plays and trying to pass for the first down, and have not been successful. You can't be conservative when you've got the lead.
Archie Griffin, who did not play last week against the Houston Oilers, is in the ball game along with his former Ohio State running mate, Pete Johnson. Anderson back to pass. He's looking for Kreider again, overthrown, almost picked off by Estes Hood, number 38. Good coverage there. Great coverage, as a matter of fact. 14-6 here in the fourth quarter. Packers lead. Mike Adamle and Mike Hafner here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's been a beautiful sunny afternoon. Perfect day for football and a perfect day for Green Bay fans. They have enjoyed themselves thoroughly, I'm sure, but they would love to see another Packer score, and hopefully the Packer defense hang tough again.
And Cincinnati has missed Isaac Curtis for about 2 quarters. He had a bad back last week, and we haven't seen him for at least a quarter and a half, Mike.
Strider, number 86, is the receiver who replaced him. Anderson back to pass, hits Donnie Bass, number 84, across the middle, and good for the first down. Mike McCoy on the stop. He had single coverage on McCoy, but we have a flag on the play.
When Isaac Curtis is out, Don Bass is the main man, and that's the guy Kenny Anderson is going to look for. He knows Green Bay's playing zone, so he runs the crossing pattern, and all he has to do is beat the linebackers, not the defensive backs. Drop it in that slot between the dropping linebackers
Offside,
and the
number 90, defense declined. First down.
Ezra Johnson committed the offside infraction, but a first down. For Cincinnati, they declined the penalty. First and 10, ball on the 27.
Third time today for Ezra Johnson jumping off sides and helping Cincinnati.
Strider split wide to the right. Don Bass wide to the left. Anderson back to pass on first and 10. There's Bass at the 10, complete. Johnny Gray, 24, on the stop and on the coverage. But now Anderson is moving the football.
Again, Kenny Anderson, red zone defense. And if you keep the linebackers in perspective, know where they're dropping, and run your wide receiver underneath the coverage, you see that great gap in the middle. Anderson read it perfectly, and that's the way to beat his own defense. Throw over the linebackers and in front of the defensive back.
Bengals have not been able to penetrate the end zone so far this afternoon. They're threatening to do so here. 1st and 10 on the 10. Anderson's ball is deflected by Mike Butler. A great play.
Defensive line coaches say get your hands up, and there's where it paid off.
6'5" of Butler, 265, fourth-year man out of Kansas. He was a first-round draft choice back in 1977, along with his Ezra Johnson. Here's Anderson's statistics for this afternoon: 14-26, 137, 2 critical interceptions. Actually, 1 not so critical at the end of the first half.
And he really misses Isaac Curtis.
New defensive linemen now for Green Bay. They have 5 defensive backs in the game. Mike Jolly and Mark Bell, Mark Lee have checked into the game. Here's Anderson again, back to pass. He's in trouble. Can't get away from Mike Butler.
Casey Merrill, who had come in.
Another defensive lineman came in the game. Excuse me.
The Packers like to put 4 down linemen with those 5 when they go to the nickel with the 5 defensive backs, and Casey Merrill's the one that comes in. And take a look at Butler first shoos him away, and then Casey Merrill is right there to make the stop.
3rd down and 13 to go now. Have to score the touchdown. This is kind of tough to do that.
A lot of pressure on Cincinnati, but Mike trailing by 8. They'll take a field goal here and then go for the touchdown later.
Slot formation to the right. Kreider in the slot. Anderson back to pass, going over the middle for number 89, Dan Ross. The intended receiver, and John Anderson, steady linebacker out of Michigan, 3rd-year man, saves the day for Green Bay. So, Ian Sunter will be called on for his 3rd field goal attempt of the afternoon. In the first half, he connected on a 20-yard field goal and a 34-yard one as well. Here it is again.
A little bit of face guarding, someone would say, but I'll tell you what, the pass was low enough to where it didn't make any difference. It hit him right in the middle of the back, so he didn't need any face guarding penalty in that. Great call by the back judge.
Sunter from 30 yards away this time. Levenfeller, the holder. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So the Bengals finally have scored here in the 3rd quarter. They narrow the margin to 5. The Packers lead 14-9. We'll be back after this. Thursday night, October 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's Games People Play. Now, you'll see various shapes and sizes hit the drink in the World Cannonball Championship. And then Soupy Sales has been resurrected. He's going to take a look at custard pie throwing, something that he's no stranger to. And then a special look at the hottest thing on wheels, skateboard fever strikes. Plus the BMX bicycle jump, where 18-year-old Jimmy Pratt attempts to jump a bicycle over 5 trucks. Here's Sunter's kick. High, very high. Fielded on the 30-yard line by Johnny Gray, 24. Dick Giron, number 30, wraps him up at the 35, 37-yard line. So Green Bay is going to get some good field position for a change. Final score, the Atlanta Falcons have now knocked the Detroit Lions from the ranks of the unbeaten. Final 43-28. 2 fumble recoveries for a touchdown. 1 block punt for a touchdown. Bad day for Monty Clark's special team.
And also, I see nowhere in the statistics Mr. Billy Sims. Had to have a bad day. You know, what the heck, after 4 great ones.
Green Bay's ball on their own 35-yard line. Dickey play action pass. And this time Ross Browner is up in his face and bats it down.
I like it, though. Play action pass on 1st down. He's not going conservative. Of course, he's got good field position here. But the Packers need to show Cincinnati that they've still got some offense left in them, or Cincinnati will keep the momentum on their side. All they need is a touchdown to get back in the game. And there's a great play by Ross Browner to knock the ball away.
When I played with the Bears, Jack Pardee had a tendency to do that as well, maybe because of our personnel, but run Peyton once we got a lead and run them all day, and it can come back to haunt you. Green Bay may be doing the same thing here. 2nd down and 10. Ball's on their own 35-yard line. Flags all over the play. I think Cincinnati was offside.
Somebody jumped, Mike. They may not have made the 30-second clock, though. I was watching it close, and it was close. Jerry will tell us.
Offense.
Thank you, Jerry.
Legal procedure against Green Bay. So now it's 2nd and 15. The ball will be placed back on the 30-yard line.
2nd down and 15. Perfect.
57. Offense. 2nd down.
I think Darryl Goforth went forth too much and too quickly.
Learn the snap count, youngster. There's Lynn Dickey's day. 17 at 23 for 190. He'll smile all night if they win.
Most of it happened in the first half. He has not done much the second half. Packers have become conservative, but Dickey's back to throw this time. He was going for Lofton. Good coverage by number 34, Louis Breeden. James a little frustrated by Breeden's play and gives him a little gingerly shove out of bounds.
Lynn Dickey's only got 33 yards passing in the second half. He had 157 in the first half. So you're right. He slowed down a bit, but again, because of the star conservatism with that 8-point lead, which is now down to 5.
82, Paul Kaufman has left the ball game. 32, Steve Atkins has come in. Cassidy, number 88, is the third wide receiver. Dickey back to pass. He's in trouble. 57, Reggie Williams, the first man to reach him. And then 67, Gary Burley, and number 53, Bo Harris. So the blitz was on. Then Dickey never had a chance.
When you've got a drop-back pass situation and the blitz is on, you better save a back to pick up the blitz. And both backs were in the pattern, and you see the result. I'll tell you, there were Reggie Williams and Jim LeClaire, Bo Harris, all over Lynn Dickey. It's a chess game out there, Mike, and if you guess wrong on a blitz, you're going to be on the seat of your pants.
Leoso Montgomery, the man who fumbled the fair catch last time, is back deep again for Cincinnati at his own 45-yard line. Beverly to punt. Beverly's kick high, fielded by Montgomery at his 46 across the midfield stripe into Green Bay territory. Green Bay is hanging on. They lead by 5, 14-9. Next week on NBC Sports, exciting NFL action continues with a doubleheader. First join Brian Gumbel and NFL 80 for an up-to-the-minute look at news, scores, and highlights, plus a special feature on violence in sports. Then most of you will see the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Cincinnati Bengals, and then the Oakland Raiders will battle the hot San Diego Chargers, plus other regional games. Check your listings for the game and time in your area.
Cincinnati can take control of the game on this drive, Mike. If they march down and score, that'll bury Green Bay, and that conservatism will have hurt them.
6:43 to go here in the fourth quarter. Bengals trail by 5. Anderson to the airwaves. Pass intended for 86 Kreider was underthrown.
The absence of Isaac Curtis is hurting Kenny Anderson.
San Francisco trailing Los Angeles. Van big in the first quarter, 17-0. Jim Youngblood, the linebacker, an intercepted pass return, 33 yards for a score. Vince Ferragamo, a touchdown pass of 19 yards to Cullen Bryant.
San Francisco bubble is bursting after a 3-0 start.
We'll have to wait for the results of the Buffalo-San Diego game to see about our other unbeaten team.
Somebody's going to be still undefeated.
2nd and 10. Anderson, play action. Boom. Blindsided by number 90, Ezra Johnson. He's lucky if he can get up from that hit. Tremendous shot.
Anthony Munoz, who is supposed to protect that side and is one-on-one with Ezra Johnson. And the rookie just got taught what an outside pass rush is because Anderson doesn't even look to that side. Munoz is one-on-one with Ezra Johnson, and Munoz, somebody's going to have to talk to him because that could have cost Cincinnati a quarterback.
Loss of 10 yards on that play. It'll be 3rd down and 20 now for Cincinnati. They have been knocked back into their own territory. 3 wide receivers. Dan Ross, 89, is split right. Kreider in the slot left, along with Don Bass. Anderson going for it all. It's Mike Levenseller. Not Kreider. Makes the grab. A great catch. He beats Mark Lee the rookie from Washington, Mike Levenseller.
Oh, the old special teams guy got his chance, and watch this. It's, again, the exact same pass that Dickey threw to Lofton. You want to get the defensive back with his back to the quarterback and just lob it over the top. And Levenseller, who gets his chance, the special teamer, makes a great catch.
He's a valuable young man. Put Cincinnati or Green Bay deep in their own territory by downing that punt, number 3, and makes a great catch for the first down there. So Cincinnati back in business. Ball to 35. Give us to Charles Alexander for 4. Gain of 6 on the play. 4 on the play. Second down and 4. Terry Jones now, number 63, has replaced Mike Butler. So Butler is still in the game, number 63. Terry Jones from Alabama has moved into the nose tackle position. Give this to Johnson. Johnson goes up the middle, going right at Terry Jones, the new man into the ball game, who replaced Charles Johnson.
That brings up third down and over 4 yards, Mike, and a very, very important play right here. Cincinnati must keep this drive alive with less than 5 minutes to go. They've got to have a touchdown to win, and they've got to keep the drive going. That's all there is to it. You don't want to wait until the very last minute.
Haven't been too successful in third down situations. 3rd and 4, Anderson back to pass. Pete Johnson's open the flat. We've got a flag in the play. Pass intended for Alexander. I think we have a holding call in Cincinnati. Not I think. I know we got a holding call in Cincinnati.
Jerry Markwright just showed us, and when that flag goes down around the quarterback, Mike, you can say 99% of the time that it is a holding penalty. And now it puts Green Bay in a bit of a sweat. Do you take the penalty, give Kenny Anderson another shot to get the first down, or do you refuse it, make it 4th down, because a field goal doesn't do any good for Cincinnati? They're going to take the penalty. I'd have refused it.
Holding, number 77, offense, 3rd down.
I'm not so sure, though, had they refused it, that McAnally might have punted and tried to nail him down in there again. So who knows?
Kenny Anderson also might have gone for it on 4th down and 4. So he gets another chance, and ifs are really big, even though it's only a 2-letter word.
Levenseller is in the slot left, along with Don Bass. Steve Kreider is wide to the right. Johnson, the single setback. 3rd down and 14 to go. Anderson with time, but it's blocked by Mike Butler, 77.
Oh, what a big play. Oh, Mike Butler, and he gets a pat on the back from Ezra Johnson. Kenny Anderson's not very happy. Where's Isaac Curtis when I need him?
Well, I'll tell you, Kreider has had trouble getting free today. They've gone to him several times. No doubt that has hurt Cincinnati's pass offense. Archie Griffin, too, who's probably their best receiver out of the backfield, he's nursing a sore ankle. Did not play last week against Houston, and that has hurt them as well. So Cincinnati has to punt. They trail by 5 with 4:24 to go here in the 4th quarter.
Now's no time for a fake. Now's the time you want to nail him again, and maybe Levenseller can down it at the 1.
Cassidy, 88, is back deep for the pack. Packers with a 10-man rush. I think Cincinnati initially took that intentionally, give them a better chance at knocking it inside the 20.
Plus, they also got a lot of movement from the Green Bay defense. And the guys were trying to pick out who they were going to block, so why not wait, see what the stunts are, and then come back and make sure you block everybody. A block punt here would kill Cincinnati, and Pat McAnally knows about that. It cost him a game in Miami.
Game, number 87, offense, 4th down.
They blamed the punter for it. Should have called it up for us, Greg, who told them to stay there and not move.
Ball's pushed back now to the 44-yard line.
Gives McAnally a better angle at the corner, too.
If you ever hit a punt, Patrick, now's the time to do it. Your team needs one here. Bengals trail by 5. Kick is low, bounces on the 15 down to the 10, and they are getting another Cincinnati bounce. Levenseller's there, but so is the entire Cincinnati special team. Ball is dead on the 3-yard line. Kick of 42 yards. Elsewhere around the league, a final score. Pittsburgh 23-17 over Minnesota. In the 4th, no, this is a final now. Seattle 26-7 over Houston. A final, Baltimore 30, Miami 17. A final, New England 21. Jets lose their 5th in a row. They got 11. Another final, Denver 19, Cleveland 16. Another final, Detroit loses their first 43-26 to Atlanta. Another final, Washington 24, or Philadelphia 24, Washington 14. Green Bay putting the ball in play on their own 3. 4:14 to go here in the 4th quarter. Dickey, getting a little gambly there. That's
I like
what you
it.
ought to do.
Play action pass.
Eddie Lee Ivory couldn't hang on. Another final, St. Louis 40, New Orleans 7. Halftime, or in the 1st quarter rather, our battle of our unbeaten teams, San Diego 7, Buffalo 3. 4-yard pass out to Kellen Winslow. 1st quarter, Kansas City 14, nothing over Oakland. 2-yard run by Ted McKnight. LA on top of San Francisco, 17-zip. Give us to Atkins, across the 5, across the 10, out to the 15-yard line. A big play by Steve Atkins, just when they needed it most.
They finally listened to us, Mike. Run inside against the 3-4 and watch Steve Atkins. This is all individual effort. There were a couple of Cincinnati Bengals that had a good shot at him.
Hesitates for a second, watches his blocks very carefully. Good block there. 83, Thompson smart not to put somebody in the back to negate the game. So the Packers have a 1st down. The ball's on their 17-yard line. They've got the clock on their side now. It's ticking with 3:29 to go here in the game. They lead by 5. I formation. Give us to Eddie Lee Ivory out just short of the 20-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down and 8.
What a day in the National Football League. All those upsets and some real surprises. And we'll have all the scores and highlights after our game.
In the 2nd quarter, Dallas surprisingly not ahead of the New York Giants as much as they thought they'd be. They only lead 3-0 on a 38-yard field goal by Rafael Septian.
And I wish I could pick games. I wouldn't have to work here then.
That makes 2 of us. Thompson split wide to the left, Lofton wide to the right. 2nd down and 7. Ball at the 19. Kaufman motion left, give us to the fullback. Steve Atkins cuts back against the grain, but squirms his way for 3 or 4 yards. Ross Browner on the stop.
Time's slipping away, Mike. Cincinnati's had their chance.
They've just called a timeout. 2:36 left to go here in the 4th and final quarter. To recap the scoring, if you've just joined us, Lynn Dickey, look at those statistics. He's had an outstanding day. His 190 yards and his 2 touchdowns. Most of those, at least the yards anyway, were accounted for in the 1st half. He hit Lofton for a 15-yard pass, and then he hit his running back, Steve Atkins, on an 8-yard scoring pass for Cincinnati. All they have been able to do is rely on the foot of Ian Sunter. 3 field goals, 20, 34, and 31 yards.
Kenny Anderson dropping back, and you pointed it out. First of all, Archie Griffin has got a bad ankle. He is their best receiver out of the backfield. Isaac Curtis, who's had a bad back and missed most of last week's game, came back today, played the first 2 quarters, and we have seen nothing of him. And when Kenny Anderson drops back to 7 and looks around, he wants to find an Isaac Curtis and an Archie Griffin, and they aren't there, and we've seen what it's done. The Packers have held on to their lead.
We mentioned that before the game that Bart Starr got a vote of confidence from the executive committee. I wonder if the players caught wind of that, because if they did, perhaps that's been responsible for their fine performance this afternoon.
I think they genuinely like Bart Starr, and they know he's a good coach, and they know there are other problems besides just the head coaching position.
3rd and 4 for Green Bay. Ball's on the 23-yard line. 2:36 to go here in the last and final quarter here. Complete to James Lofton. Big completion. Lofton working on Ray Griffin, number 44. First down, Green Bay.
Bart Starr hurt us, Mike. He stopped being conservative. Watch the move by the tight end. He can do that if he goes backwards because he was in the backfield. So don't wonder why there's not a flag on that play. And there's the great throw to the ex-Stanford wide receiver. And Lynn Dickey got excited. Let's see if I was right. Tell us, Jerry, that the guy in the backfield, he doesn't even have to. A guy who's lined up in the backfield can have motion backwards.
Look at Bo Harris. He is beside himself there. He thinks there was a legal procedure. Perhaps he ought to check his rule book.
Yes, Jerry Markwright called it perfectly. The tight end was lined up in the backfield. Take a look. You can see that he's back off the line. See Kaufman move backwards? That is perfectly within the rules.
First and 10, ball at the Green Bay 36. 2:01, 2 minutes to go, and there's the 2-minute warning. Lynn Dickey running off the side of the field to talk to Bart Starr. His team is holding on to a 5-point lead, 14-9. Stay with us. Next Sunday on NBC Sports, NFL 80 continues. Join my old partner, Brian Gumbel. He does a heck of a job with our pregame show. He'll have an up-to-the-minute look at all the news, scores, and highlights, plus a special feature I think you're going to enjoy on violence in sports. That's all next Sunday on NFL 80. Check your local listings for the time in your area. Mike Adamle along with Mike Hafner here. 2 minutes remaining in this contest. The Green Bay Packers lead 14-9. They have the ball on their own 36-yard line, first and 10. Give is to Eddie Lee Ivory. Across 35, 36, out to about the 38. Gain of 2, second down and 8. Ross Browner and Gary Burley, number 67 on the stop. Cincinnati wisely calls timeout.
They've only got one left, and now you can play conservative. Run a couple running plays, force Cincinnati to use up all of their timeouts, Mike, and they've only got one left. And then they have got to move down the field without any timeouts in that 2-minute drill, and that really makes it tough on you.
Remember, after this game, NFL 80 will have all the scores from around the NFL today, and we have had some upsets to be sure. Atlanta big over Detroit. They've been knocked from the ranks of the unbeaten. There's a first quarter score. San Diego now on top of Buffalo, 14-3.
How about Seattle over the Houston Oilers? That was a big surprise.
Well, you remember when Ken Stabler played for the Raiders, they lost twice to Seattle. Never could do much with that team. Now, apparently, Jack Patera knows how to defend the Snake. They lost today again. That was in Houston, I believe.
Oh, Brian Gumbel will tell the fans how all the upsets happened today.
He's got a great job. I remember last year we'd sit there all day long. We had 10 monitors, and we watched every game in the league. It was wonderful.
A fan's dream. Every game right at your fingertips.
Here in Green Bay, 2nd and 8 for the Pack. They're hanging on, 14-9. Dickey calling the signal. Give us to Alexander. LeClaire almost had a hand on him. Excuse me. Eddie Lee Ivory, the ball carrier. Timeout again, Cincinnati.
And that's all for Cincinnati. No more timeouts. And it's only 3rd down if Lynn Dickey.
Brian Gumbel is standing by in New York. He's got another NFL update. Let's go to him now.
Thank you, Michael. A matchup of unbeatens in San Diego where the Bills and the Chargers are going at it. And Dan Fouts working to John Jefferson here. This combo works against anyone. For Fouts, his 12th touchdown pass of the year. 5th for Jefferson. Chargers in front, 14-3. Back to you, Michael.
Thank you, partner. Good to hear your voice again. We've got quite a game here in Green Bay. Mike Hafner working with me, 14-9. Lynn Dickey had an outstanding first half. The Packers got conservative, but now they're doing things right.
Well, Lynn Dickey's opened it up, and he's forced Cincinnati to use all of his timeouts. And I sure like to watch John Jefferson run patterns. Oh, my goodness. If I was a quarterback, I'd throw to him every down.
We're having a chance to see another one of the NFL's premier wide receivers, James Lofton, on the afternoon. 8 receptions, 114 yards. First time this season he's gone over the century mark. 1:46 to go here in Green Bay. They have the ball 3rd and 8 now on the 38-yard line. Dickey, quick little draw to Steve Atkins. Close to the first down. Very close. 57, Reggie Williams pulled him down from behind. I thought his forward momentum might carry him for the first down. They're short.
Fans, they want him to go for it, but you got to punt here. You've got to punt.
No question about it. Last week against Dallas, Green Bay had a 14-point turnaround. They were trailing 14-7, had the ball on the Dallas 10, 4th and 1, gave it to Ellis. He got stopped cold. Dallas went the whole 90 yards and went ahead 21-7. So
that turned the whole game around. But in this situation, you don't want to give Cincinnati the ball if you don't make it inside your own territory. And Beverly's the best at putting it outside, putting it out of bounds inside the 20. Let's see if he can do it now.
If he does it here, he's kicking from his own 30. That'll be about a 60-yard kick. I don't know if he's got that much power in his leg. Montgomery is back. A fumble covered. Beverly is wide open. And today has got to be the Packers' day. Normally that would have gone against them. Today, I think Green Bay's got it.
Bad snap and rolled all over the field. David Beverly had the presence of mind to pick it up, run outside, and you'll take a look at it here. I'll tell you, David Beverly's a heck of an athlete, Mike. He can play shortstop for the Yankees with a pickup like that. And now watch him. He don't want to get hurt. Let me out of here. Right now, I'm safe. And David Beverly has cinched this football game for the Packers.
The guy who snaps the ball is number 62, Buddy Adeletti, the rookie out of Alabama. He's not done very well at that, but with McCarron nursing that broken finger, it's been tough. But Adeletti looks like he's got 2 broken hands or something.
He'll say afterwards, that's the best bad snap I ever made.
Yeah. So the Packers are closer to their second victory. Just 40 seconds ago, 14-9. Dickey's just going to fall on the ball. You know, the Packer fans are not leaving, Michael. They have never been used to this kind of thing. Even though the victory is well in hand, they're going to savor it.
They've got to run one more play, Mike, but it's over with, and you're right. Listen, fans, we don't have to say anything. You can listen to them. See?
Gronkowski. Bart Starr has done it. Temporarily, the monkeys on off his back. Green Bay has won it. 14-9. And there cannot be a happier man than Bart Starr. We congratulate his counterpart, Hall of Famer Forrest Gregg. It meant a lot to both of these men. Outstanding game for Green Bay.
Forrest Gregg used to block for it. I wonder how he felt. What a day for Green Bay fans. Look at them. They aren't going to leave for an hour, Mike. They'll be here savoring this win forever.
Well, I should not say it. I mean, it's been such a long time. Here you see Lynn Dickey, who had an outstanding afternoon. I think Kenny Anderson, a great display of sportsmanship. He's awfully pleased for that, man, because Dickey has just waited such a long time. Both from that great quarterback class, 1970, when Dickey and Pastorini and Plunkett and Chuck Hickson and Kenny Anderson all came out of that graduating class. Dickey walking off the field.
He'll savor this win. Look at him, hand in the air. All right, you deserve it, Lynn Dickey.
Green Bay fans, this is a sight for sore eyes. Once again, the final score here in Green Bay, 14-9 to Packers. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Don Ohlmeyer. Coordinating producer of NBC's NFL football is Ted Nathanson. Today's